This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Bucks ready to welcome back star power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo tonight. ESPN's Shams Charania is reporting he's expected to return from a right calf injury against the Celtics. He's officially listed as questionable. In the last 15 games without Giannis, Milwaukee went 8-7 and enters tonight's NBA action 3 games out of the final play-in spot in the East. The Bucks, though, should focus on draft positioning, not the postseason, believes ESPN NBA reporter Tim McMahon.
This is not in the Bucks' best long-term interest. We're not going to pretend that the Bucks have a chance in hell of doing anything in the Eastern Conference playoffs this year. The Bucks do not have any chance of doing anything. They're not going to win. They're not going to win a single playoff game.
The Texans, as they'd been looking to do this NFL offseason, bolstered their running game. They acquired running back David Montgomery from the Lions for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs and 2 draft picks. As expected, the Commanders told cornerback Marshawn Lattimore he'll be released before the new league year begins next week. That'll save them $18 million in cap space. They currently have the 5th most space available.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Tuesday. As we head towards free agency, I'll tell you which players can make teams title contenders. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tumpley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Baseball Tigers, successful weekend. Back at it again tonight. We got the Combine recap. Ross Dellinger a little more than an hour. David DeLucci will be with us in hour 3. Nobody wants Derek Carr. Shocker, a plum ton to do. So let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, let's start on the diamond. LSU wins 3 games over the weekend, bouncing back from their Tuesday misstep against McNeese. They'll be back at it tonight against Northeastern out at the box. And I know that part of this conversation has to be the offense going into the deep freeze for the last 4 games. And we're going to get to that. But that is not the story. That is certainly not the headline news, because LSU's starting pitching this weekend is where all of us should start this conversation. Coming out of the opening weekend, it's what we all wanted to see. More consistency, more length, deeper into the game, more strikes, fewer walks. And my goodness, did Kason Evans, Cooper Moore, and William Schmidt oblige this weekend. Those 3 combined, as you well know by now, for 29 strikeouts and just 4 walks. They combined to allow 4 runs on 9 hits. That's over 3 games. 4 runs on 9 hits combined over 3 games. And you can say it was against lesser opponents, and you would be right. And I don't care, because they went out and they threw strikes and they dominated lesser opponents. And the way that you avoid dominating lesser opponents is you go walk people. And by and large, they did not do that. And that was awesome to see. And by the way, it could have been even better for Kason Evans. Like, he had some bad luck in the 3rd. Dardar kicked the ball. Braden Simpson, it was a run-scoring double, but if you're watching the game, it was a ball that was placed down the left field line, and Simpson was given chase. He got a bad jump on the ball, and quite honestly, he got a little in between it and sort of scuffled a little, and the ball landed, went as an RBI double. If Chris Stanfield's in left, or a true outfielder is in left, that's an out. We saw much more spectacular plays made by both teams over the weekend than that. Cooper Moore on Saturday was awesome. Retired the first 11 hitters he faced. He was at 76 pitches through 6 innings, the picture of efficiency. In the top of the 7th, he worked around a double to get out of it. And he would have made it through the 8th, by the way, but he had a strikeout, and Cerna, who was catching, couldn't glove. It like literally went off Cerna's glove and went to the backstop. And so the hitter took the base, and that's whenever they lifted him. He would have made it through 8 otherwise. He was awesome in that game. And then Schmidt on Sunday, he was perfect through 4 innings, retired the first 12 he faced. In both the top of the 5th and the top of the 6th, he worked around the leadoff runners getting on. In the 5th, after the leadoff single, he induced a ground ball double play, gave up another single, then got a ground out to get out of it. In the 6th, gave up a leadoff single. And this is where it really got hairy, because on the pickoff attempt, he threw the ball away, or York couldn't handle it. Either way, it went there or went on the pitcher. But after that, so runner on second, nobody out. He goes strikeout, ground out. Ground ball to third base, and Reeves tagged the runner. I mean, whenever they were faced with sticky situations, they came up with a big pitch to get out of it consistently over the weekend, which was just awesome to see all the way around. So you wanted better, more consistent efforts from your starters. You got it from all 3 this weekend, which was so great to see. And then, my goodness, how about just the recipe to win games? After Evans, you give the ball to Guidry and he gets you home on 50 pitches, showing he could extend for a multi-inning save. Cooper Moore to Devin Sheeran was just who continues to be dominant. And then Schmidt, they handed the ball to Dothy, and he hit the only guy he faced. They bring in Rizzi. Rizzi, unfortunately, wasn't able to get the final outs. They brought in Jaden Newt, who did. And maybe what we learned there is that Rizzi just isn't a closer. I mean, we know Rizzi can extend, and we know he can be dominant, but sometimes getting the final 3 outs of the game is a really tough thing to do. For some guys, their makeup, like for Fontenot and for Guidry and for Sheeran, they're great in that role. Maybe Rizzi is just a guy that needs to be more middle relief, a guy that can go in a tough spot, get you a strikeout in the bottom of the 5th if that's what you need. But that's what Jay and Nate Yeske are learning about these guys right now on this team and the roles they fill. The pitching was absolutely the story. But the bats went cold this week and go back to Tuesday against McNeese and then go through the weekend. Over 4 games, you combined for 22 hits. 4 games combined for 22 hits. You're averaging, 5.5 hits a game there? You scored 6, 5, 3, 3, 17 runs over 4 games. And really the 6 against McNeese, a lot of that was when you were rallying from down 7-2. So, look, I know this isn't an explanation that anybody likes, and I really don't care if you like it or not. It's just true. It happens in baseball. Like sometimes a pitcher's on. That kid from Dartmouth yesterday had the best game of his life. Congrats. I mean, he was really good. I mean, he was throwing 87, breaking ball in the upper 70s. He was commanding both sides of the plate. He was changing speeds. He was changing eye levels. He was good. He induced a lot of weak contact. He had a really good day, and LSU didn't. And look, there was a couple of really hard hit balls over the weekend that got the right fielder, Axel Reese, great name too, by the way, from Dartmouth on Friday, robbed RBI extra base hits from both Curiel and Brown with brilliant plays off the bat. I mean, sometimes you tip your cap. I think it was Braun yesterday who hit one on Sunday. It was a sinking liner to center. Center fielder came and made a really nice play on, what probably most days would have been a single. And man, if it got under that guy's glove, it's extra base. It could be 3. But look, Aaron Judge is arguably the best hitter on the planet. I said arguably, Muse. Back off, all right? In April of 2024, Aaron Judge started the season hitting 178. He was literally being booed at Yankee Stadium. He won the MVP. I mean, like, no one is exempt. Like, everyone is going to go through slumps. You're going to go through cold stretches. This just was a crappy offensive week. It has been, and they're going to be fine. I don't worry about it. Right now, Brown at 415, Caraway at 306, and Dardar at 300 are your only regulars hitting above 300. Is a bad week. It happens. You play 56, you're going to have bad weeks. You're going to have great weeks. And that's why we keep averages in baseball. So I'm not at all worried about the offense because I know Milam and Curiel and Brown and Caraway and York, like all these guys can hit. I know we've seen it. We've seen it at LSU. We've seen it like in the instance of Caraway and some of these at other schools. Like we know they can hit. We're not guessing. We're not hoping it translates. They've all done it. They're going to be fine. Just a bad week. So see if they can get out there and maybe get the offense going tonight. But I think one thing is it does show you this team is illustrating they can win in different ways. If the offense is cold and they only put up 3 runs, you can go win a pitcher's duel like they did this weekend. And that was really good to see. So they won't be unfamiliar in that situation in the future. Tigers are back at it tonight. They'll take on Northeastern. We'll see who they elect to start. Maybe it's Cowan. Maybe it's Paz, again, who got the start last week in the loss to McNeese. Maybe we want to get him back out there. And because you were so efficient, you need a lot of guys. You have a lot of guys that need mound time. Williams, Plaug, Garcia, Fontenot. None of those guys took the ball this weekend. So you got a game here Monday. You'll play at ULL on Wednesday. So a great opportunity to get some innings and some work for these guys before one final weekend before you start conference play. And then the only other thing, just quickly, is I'm curious. I would love to see Jay give Daniel Harden a look in left field. I know he always prefers a bat, and so he's leaning on Simpson and on Reeves, but neither of those guys are outfielders. And I would, on a day like this feels like the right opportunity if you want to get a guy like Harden out there, get him 4 or 5 at bats, not looking over his shoulder, not a pinch hit situation. Just know he's going to have the opportunity to get out there and then get him some run in the outfield. So I don't think we're going to see that. I would love to see it. I don't think we will, but Tigers have another opportunity tonight against Northeastern with a 6:30 first pitch. So 3-0 weekend, and should be really encouraged by what we saw on the bump from the Tigers. All right, it's After Further Review. Show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. If you are going to be at the box tonight for LSU and Northeastern, make sure you get there early and grab plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light. If you're shopping out and about at your favorite retailer, look for the officially licensed 16-ounce aluminum bottles. Awesome. It's the national champion logo. Collectors, buy 2 cases. 1 to drink, 1 to keep as a keepsake. Over at from our friends at Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Okay, y'all, Combine was this weekend up in Indy. You know that. Dalton Wasserman from Pro Football Focus, he'll give us his recap from what we saw. That's next here on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Lots of ways that you can get Gordon. You can go to getgordon.com, 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 or you can call 888-8888, 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. No matter where you are in the state of Louisiana, that's an important note as well. Yes, home base is in Baton Rouge, but they got offices all over the state. So Gordon and his team can go to work for you, and you don't have to travel. If you've been injured in an accident, the last thing you want to do is travel to see an attorney, so you don't have to do that. Gordon's got offices all over the state. So just call 888-8888, 888-8888. Of course, the 8s became famous in Omaha a couple of years ago with the 8,888 Jello shots, but that's also the phone number, 888-8888. Or go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. If you've been injured in an accident, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done. Getgordon.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. Trusted by champions, built for Louisiana.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
Dr. Johnson, that's my guy. He gonna tell me when I need to do better. He gonna tell me when I need to slow down. And I trust him 100%. The medical care that I received at LSU and with Our Lady of the Lake is top tier. I really trust what they telling me, and they keep me right.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Combine's in the rearview mirror. Dalton Wasserman from Pro Football Focus was there. He's here now. Hey, man, how are you?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Doing really well. So you got to go watch the Combine. If I said, okay, biggest takeaway, regardless of player position, good, bad, what does it go?
I think when you talk about this draft class in general, it's a very heavily defensive-leaning draft class, and I think a lot of the superstars on defense showed out. Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles from Ohio State. David Bailey from Texas Tech might have solidified a top-5 selection. Guys like Dylan Thieneman from Oregon at safety. At all three levels, honestly, if you need anything on defense, this is your draft to get it. I think that's really been an emphasis. Even look at the last two Super Bowl champions with Philadelphia and Seattle, the two best defenses in football in each of those years. So I think that's really going to be a big emphasis for these teams, is making stops and finding a way to contain more and more explosive offenses.
So the Saints pick 8th. Does that mean, with such a heavy emphasis on defense, that a really elite offensive player could be there on the board for them at 8?
I think so, and we'll see how far down this player drops, because it won't be very far, but I would be very tempted to take the running back out of Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love. I think when you look at the Saints and the lack of production, the lack of balance that their run game gave them last year, I think it would be such a big help. I know Alvin Kamara's got one more year in his contract, and obviously he's not going to be around forever, but Jeremiah Love can add a dimension to this Saints offense that they just didn't have last year. And I think Kellen Moore has got to think about, well, he had Saquon Barkley the year before when he was the offensive coordinator in Philly, and look what that home run ability gave them. Jeremiah Love can give you that same home run ability. I've seen him run for a 98-yard touchdown in person myself, and it's just a different gear that he has. If Love is still on the board at 8, I'd have to highly consider it.
What did Love do at the Combine that people didn't already know about him on tape?
To be honest, I don't know if there's much that we don't already know, because every top running back like this gets so highly scrutinized. But when you talk about a guy at over 210 pounds who ran the same 40 as Jahmyr Gibbs, right, and looked so smooth in the receiving drills and can just do everything that a three-down back in the NFL does, right? When you think about those premier guys, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, those guys who can play. Jahmyr Gibbs even is maybe a comp for him too. Those guys who can create explosive plays on the ground, who can receive out of the backfield. There's even some reps of him lining up out in the slot and things like that, winning one-on-one. I mean, he just can do it all, man. And I think the freakish athleticism was only confirmed that you saw on tape for the last 3 years. So I would just about guarantee at this point that he's going in the top 10 of this draft.
Dalton Wasserman's with us, Pro Football Focus. Get him at PFF_Dalton if you want to give him a follow. A lot of people here obviously talking about the receivers as well. The top two guys that are part of everybody's conversation are Tate and Tyson. What can you tell us coming out of the weekend in Indy?
The bigger questions are about Tyson, really, and the fact that the only testing he did was the bench press, right? Suffered some hamstring injuries during the year, and it goes kind of, along with a long line of injury history that he's had, right? So the medicals are going to be big, and that might be something that has him sliding down the board a little bit. When he is healthy, I think he's the best intermediate route runner in this class. He's tough as nails. He can make contested catches. He can make big plays inside or out, but the injury history is a problem. And then I think with Carnell Tate, everyone's kind of taking a second look with so many guys who are running 4.3s and lows 4.4s. Carnell Tate running a 4.5, I think, had some people questioning his speed maybe a little bit. Now there's rumors about hand times and lasers and all of that, but I think people will probably take one more look. I still think you could argue he's the best vertical receiver in the draft. He's a very good route runner with stop and start ability at his size, but I think those are two question marks. And small, maybe Tyson's a little bigger than Tate's at that 4.52 or whatever it was is still plenty good enough for Tate to succeed in the NFL, but he's going to have people taking one more look at the long speed there.
One more on offense, and we'll flip it back and talk about this impressive defensive class. Everyone here also is very interested in what happens with Garrett Nussmeier. He threw, he participated, obviously has to answer a lot of questions. What was was there a general consensus on Nussmeier coming out of Indy?
Pretty positive, and I think even pretty positive coming out of Mobile down at the Senior Bowl, about a month and a half ago. I think when you look at Nussmeier, obviously his dad being the OC, Doug Nussmeier, for the Saints, he's got the NFL background and pedigree. Mentally, he knows what he's looking out on the field. Undersized, I'd say a little bit below average size, and not the greatest athlete among the class for sure, but somebody who, when he is healthy, and that's been a big conversation throughout this process, how healthy is Garrett Nussmeier, and what does he look like when he's throwing the ball and he's not compromised with his oblique and things like that. I think he's had a good process. I still think he's probably something closer to a third or maybe early fourth round prospect, but I think he's one of the more NFL ready guys when it comes to, okay, how can he see the field and how brave is he, when it comes to making tight window throws. I think he's going to be looked at as a solid backup option probably in round 3 or 4.
What would you say is the ceiling for Nussmeier if everything goes great for him between now and the draft? Draft ceiling, yes.
If he really aced a lot of the interviews and things on the board, and there's teams that really believe, okay, this guy was just not healthy, I think he could maybe float into maybe the top 60, like late second or early third round. I don't think there's a lot of teams that are going to go, okay, this guy is, I want to bring him in the second round as my starter with a top 30 or 40 pick or closer to where, say, Tyler Shuck got drafted last year. But I do think there is some hope there that eventually, as long as he's healthy, he could be a productive starter, especially with his football IQ.
A couple more for you here. Dalton Wasserman from Pro Football Focus is our guest. He's at PFF_Dalton. Nuss was one of 11 LSU Tigers there at the Combine. Anybody else catch your eye? Well, there's one obvious one who ran a 4.28, but anybody else catch your eye among the LSU contingent?
I mean, obviously a lot of speed, right, from those receivers. I mean, and I think especially when you talk about Xavion Thomas and Barrion Brown, guys who are going to get drafted for special teams value as well. Barrion Brown's been one of the best kick returners at his time at LSU and at Kentucky. Xavion Thomas, a really good returner in his own right. So I think it's something when you look at the new kickoff rules and 70% or something upward that kick returns went on kickoffs this year, it's something that's going to get emphasized. I think you're going to see more of these specialists get drafted in rounds, 5, 6, and 7 just to help with special teams. I mean, even look at Seattle just trading for Rashid Shaheed from the Saints and the big difference he made in half the season, right? So I think those guys are going to carry some day 3 value, especially with the special teams, and those two especially can absolutely fly. I think definitely they're going to have value on day 3 of this draft.
Let's flip back to defense, which is where you started. It'll be a good place to finish. As we look through the Saints lens at 8, with maybe what we saw coming out of the Combine and how that may alter positioning in this draft, what player do you think might realistically be on the board, best case scenario for New Orleans defensively there at 8?
If you're talking, so I think there's a couple of options here. I think the defensive line could always use some work. I think Caleb Downs could absolutely be on the board considering the safety, value positioning there with some of the teams, and is he going to drop or how high could he go as a safety? If DeMario Davis doesn't come back, then I think linebackers on the board, and we will see if there's any jockeying and how high Sonny Styles could go from Ohio State. Feels like at every position you could fill with an Ohio State player. But, and then I think about if they want to go, say, on the defensive interior, maybe is it a Peter Woods, another defensive tackle from Clemson for the Saints? Is it, Caleb Banks, who supposedly, has the high ceiling, but he hasn't been as consistent and didn't play much, the D tackle from Florida? They definitely got a lot of options. I think there's going to be, maybe even it's a Reuben Bain, the edge player from Miami, people talking about the arm length, under 31 inches and all of that. There's a chance he could drop to the back half of the top 10. Going to be defensive players for them available there at 8. It's a stacked defensive class. It's the better side of the ball in this class, and it's just a matter of which one of those guys would feel a need to go over, say, an explosive offensive playmaker for.
Downs, Bain, Woods, Styles, Banks, all the ones you just mentioned, if you could have your pick of those guys at 8, any of them are available, best case, which one would you want at 8?
Ooh, at 8 for the Saints. See, it's fun because I think in a vacuum, I think Caleb Downs is the best one out of all of them, but he's a safety, and I don't think the Saints have that as a pressing need. I would say for them, it's probably Sonny Styles. Look, whether DeMario Davis keeps doing the 1 year at a time thing or not, or whether he's going to leave or retire or what have you, I think to have the new leader in the middle of that defense, especially with just the absolute freak show he put on at the Combine, I think Sonny Styles might be the best fit for them. But in a vacuum, I would tell you I think Caleb Downs is the best football player of that group.
He is Dalton Wasserman, Pro Football Focus, at PFF_Dalton. Y'all can get him there. Fresh off trip to the Combine. Dalton, we appreciate the time as always, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you as always.
Yep, it's our pleasure. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. I want to come back and talk about Styles in just a second. I think that's fascinating. Remember, if you need tires at Shawbills, they're going to sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they'll keep you coming back year after year after year because they treat you like family. It's basically been their mantra since they opened their doors in 1968. It's Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. You can go to ShawBillsTire.com to schedule service, to shop tires. You want to chat with an associate, find the location nearest you, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. I can tell you all about tires, but tires are a commodity, man. You can buy a Michelin, a BF Goodrich, a Bridgestone, a Firestone, a Toyo. You could buy the same tire darn near anywhere. So why do you go to Shawbills? 2 reasons. 1, they're going to give you the best price. They guarantee it. And number 2, they're going to treat you like family. So if they give you the best price and the best customer service, why would you go anywhere else? There's a reason they've been in business since 1968. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling. All right, we appreciate Dalton Wasserman for joining us. It's interesting hearing him say of those players, he would go Sonny Styles at 8. And I think, a couple of weeks ago, who was it that we had on that mocked Sonny Styles like 2-3 weeks ago?
It was Josh Edwards.
At CBS.
Yes.
So Josh Edwards, like, I'm right on that timeline, right? It was about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah, early February.
Yeah. He was the first I saw that mocked Sonny Styles to the Saints at 8. So he was early on Sonny Styles. And it was the first that we actually started to think and consider that as a possibility. Now, that breaks my heart because the only way that actually makes sense is if DeMario Davis is not on the New Orleans Saints. And that feels like it's becoming more and more like of a likelihood that DeMario Davis won't be back. A lot of indications are he probably goes and joins Dennis Allen in Chicago on a multi-year deal. Well, if DeMario Davis leaves in free agency, then you have a giant gaping hole in the middle of your defense, and then Sonny Styles at 8 makes so much sense. And I would be in favor of that because it means you wouldn't be drafting Jeremiah Love. And I know it sounds so ridiculous because he's athletically so gifted, but and again, it's not an anti-Jeremiah Love take. It's an anti-drafting a running back at 8 take. That's where I'm coming from. You don't have to agree with me. That's fine. I'm not pounding the table. I'm not saying that he'd be a terrible player, terrible pick. There's so many examples of teams that, you just saw Kenneth Walker win the Super Bowl MVP. He was a second-round pick at running back. I can't get there taking a running back in the top 10. Any running back in the top 10. Just not in this day and age of football. So, people talk about Saquon. Yes, Saquon was a top 10 pick of the Giants. Only when he went to the Eagles did we see him emerge and become part of a championship team because they had a championship roster built around him. You drafted Ashton Genty, top 10 last year with the Raiders, and they're the worst team in the NFL again. Anyway, y'all know how I feel on it. I'm really starting to acclimate to the idea of Sonny Styles at 8. And Hester, who was at the Combine covering it for SiriusXM, said he was the most impressive player he saw all week at the Combine. Not just physically, but football IQ, coverage. He's played all three levels of defense. I mean, that's something that I can really get on board with, but we'll know the answer to the test if DeMario Davis isn't back. And we'll know that beforehand, right? When free agency begins here in a few weeks, if DeMario Davis ends up signing somewhere else, then you have a giant gaping hole in the middle of your defense you have to address. And then someone like Sonny Styles at 8 all of a sudden makes so much sense for the New Orleans Saints if it were to come to that. So we'll start to get those answers. Okay, it's after further review. Thanks for being here with us. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC. Ross Dellinger's here in 45 minutes. If you haven't heard, massive goings on around adjacent to college football about the future of the sport. And Deli will be here to fill in some of those gaps with us in about 45 minutes. It's AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Remember, tell you every day, go see our friends over at River City's 1 Hour Air if you have any issue whatsoever with your home central AC or in this case, your heater when it gets cold, but we've been in the 80s, so you probably need more help with your AC. But I love to share these 5-star Google reviews. They got more than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor because of reviews like this. John Belcher said, excellent service. Jason came out, immediately went to work, diagnosed the problem. Very knowledgeable. That is appreciated. Very satisfied with the service. Another 5-star Google review for River City's 1 Hour Air. You'll have an expertly trained technician that comes out, does the job right the first time. You'll always get it at a fair price where they'll give you a good, better, and best option. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Trust isn't given, it's earned. Earned by showing up, putting in the work, the hours that nobody sees. I didn't get here on my own. I trust my coaches to lead, my teammates to step up, and when the game is on the line, Our Lady of the Lake to keep me healthy and on the court. Because it takes a champion to care for a champion. I trust the Lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
The Mississippi House of Representatives has passed a bill that would exclude athletes' NIL earnings from state income tax. That naturally would be a recruiting advantage for the in-state schools, namely Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Effectively to say, if you make NIL money, yeah, you'd still have to pay federal tax, but you wouldn't have to pay state income tax in Mississippi. For whatever it's worth, Arkansas has already passed a similar bill. Florida, Texas, Tennessee are other states in the SEC that have no state income tax, so that already is a benefit for a recruiting benefit potentially for those. I know that there's pushback on this from some saying, why should student athletes have their income tax exempt? Well, you didn't ask my opinion on this, but I think we should abolish the IRS. There should be no taxes. But some of y'all are like, yeah, hell yeah. I am as staunch a fiscal conservative as you'll ever imagine. I don't talk politics here, but we're not talking politics. We're talking money, and my money is mine, and I want to keep it. So anyway, I will be interested to see if Louisiana is planning to follow suit. I did reach out to several state legislators, because I know the legislative session in Louisiana is about to begin, to see if there's any plans of something. And I haven't been able to get any indication. I know in the past, Dixon McMakin, who many of you know is the voice of Tiger Stadium and the PMAC, who's also a state legislator, tried to he talked about it here on the show, tried to drum up interest in something similar and just didn't have a lot of support for it. So maybe with Mississippi, it's not been signed into law, by the way, Mississippi. The House just passed it, so it has to go House, Senate, then to the governor's desk. So we'll see what happens if the Senate passes it, if the governor of Mississippi signs it. But it would be something that would be a bit of a recruiting advantage. I don't know necessarily that it's helped Arkansas tremendously, but it's a thing and something worth following. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. We're going to go around the SEC in just a quick second. Also, Josh Heupel has weighed in on his preferred format for the college football playoff. I'll get to that here in just a quick second. Remember, Parish Restoration, kill mold, remove odor, patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. 3 things. Patented, non-toxic dry fog. Patented, nobody else can do it. Non-toxic, safe for your family, your plants, your pets. Dry fog, meaning when they come in and spray, you don't have to worry about your furniture or your sheetrock or your carpet or anything. Like it's a dry fog. It's not going to hurt anything. So the fog gets into every single nook and cranny. It'll kill everything down to the spores. Mold, other harmful pathogens, viruses, all of it. parishrestoration.com to get that free estimate. parishrestoration.com. It's parishrestoration.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. They'll be in touch to get you that free estimate at parishrestoration.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
State safeties coach Matt Barnes is leaving Starkville to join the Maryland staff. Just a couple of weeks here before the start of spring ball, and Jeff Lebby now has a vacancy on his staff. He'll be the special teams coordinator there at Maryland. So State's still in need of a wide receivers coach as well. Barnes had been State's co-defensive coordinator the last couple of seasons before Matt Brock took the co-defensive coordinator title in January. Barnes has also been the defensive coordinator at Memphis in 2022-2023, so very experienced, but he's leaving Starkville to head to Maryland.
The Florida Gators.
A couple of Florida players are going to be limited at the start of spring practice. Defensive end Cameron James and redshirt freshman wide receiver Dallas Wilson, both dealing with injuries. Wilson, my goodness, lost most of his season this past year because of injury. But dealing with injuries heading into spring. James had off-season shoulder surgery, so he'll be no contact in spring practice. Played in all 12 games this past season. Wilson, again, on the mend with a right foot injury, so he'll be limited to start spring ball. Had a season-ending surgery on his right foot last year and took a red shirt.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Forward Jaden Quaintance is working toward a return for Kentucky. Mark Pope said he was in full shutdown in terms of his on-court work back in late January, but sophomore forward trying to get back to full strength for the remainder of the regular season. So going into the final week, could be good news here. 6'10", 255-pound forward has a strength test in the coming days. Could clear him with his swelling under control to get back onto the floor. Prior to the shutdown, he was averaging 5 and 5, just about 16 minutes a game.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And Nate Ament won't practice ahead of Tennessee's basketball game at South Carolina. Vols associate head coach Justin Gainey revealed that to the media whenever he met with the media over the weekend. Suffered the injury Saturday in the game against Alabama, so Ament was still dressed out for Monday's practice despite his absence on the floor. He was just working on the side with the strength coach. So we'll see if he's there back in time for the game against Carolina. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters and shades as well. Check them out. Learn more. ReliefWindows.com. ReliefWindows.com. Josh Heupel, I got to admit it here. Josh Heupel has gone on the record saying that he would prefer a 24-team college football playoff. I think that is certainly notable, mostly because Heupel, in so doing, is going against the directive, I shouldn't say directive, the opinion of Greg Sankey. Greg Sankey has been lobbying for a 16-team playoff. We know the Big Ten, and their commissioner, Tony Petitti, has been pushing for 24. So Heupel is now lobbying for 24 teams, effectively agreeing with Petitti and not SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey. Now, I actually agree with Josh Heupel, and I think it is an inevitability that we will get to 24 teams. It's just a matter of when. It kind of feels natural, like we'll see 16 before they get to 24, but it's just like how we saw from the AP era to the 4-team playoff to now 12, and we'll expand from 12 probably to 16, then to 24. It's just baby steps, but we're all heading to this eventuality, and I'm good with it. Y'all know how I feel about this. I think more football is a good thing. There's the weird counter argument that it's going to dilute the regular season. Actually, nothing could be further from the truth. It's going to make the regular season more meaningful because more teams will be able to stay engaged longer. So, and I know every counter argument to that, but you want to see great regular season games. You want to see tough non-conference opponents being scheduled. You want to see more conference games. Well, this is what you do. You want to see 11-1 Indiana get in where they don't play a Power 4 non-conference opponent and play 2 ranked teams all year and lose to them both, but they get in because they're 11-1. That's what you're going to see scheduling. You want to see Texas basically being out of the playoff because they decided to go challenge themselves, played at Ohio State and lost. You want that game to go away instead of playing Ohio State, play Ohio U, so that way they're in the play. I'd rather see Texas, Ohio State. So give me more of those games. Give me better games, and the way you reward those teams for playing those games is seeding, buys, home games, whatever it may be. So I'm for it. I'm for actually determining things on the field, and we all know where this is going because it's about money. Everyone is trying to figure out how they can generate more revenue in this day and age of college football with revenue share and increasing expenses. You got to find new revenue streams. The easiest way to squeeze that juice is college football. How do you maximize it? More spots and more TV inventory for the college football playoff. And that's what they're going to head toward. So Heupel's lobbying for 24. I'm there with him. But I'll take 16. 16 is better than 12. 24 will be better than 16. We'll get there eventually. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Monday shows brought to you by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. In the meantime, the NCAA is considering some really intense transfer portal legislation I want to talk about when we come back in about 15 minutes from right now. Apparently, nobody has any interest in Derek Carr, and I, for one, am stunned. We'll get to it. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
REV. Let's Rev. Let'sRev.com. 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 We switched. Got Rev at the Scone household now. They laid fiber in our neighborhood, so now we have the all-fiber network. Lightning fast internet speeds up to 5 gigs, backed by the security and power of an all-fiber network, meaning those cables are buried under the ground. So, storm comes, knocks down power lines. We don't have to worry about that because our cable and internet buried under the ground. REV, Let'sRev.com, Let'sRev.com, Let'sRev.com. Oh, did I also mention it's more cost-effective? In switching to Rev, our bill was basically cut in half from the other provider that we had. And, again, that's not just an introductory price. The price is the price. They don't get you in with a low price and then jack the rate on you. The price is the price at Rev. And they're a local company with local service. REV. Let'sRev.com, Let'sRev.com, Let'sRev.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Dr. Johnson, that's my guy. He gonna tell me when I need to do better. He gonna tell me when I need to slow down. And I trust him 100%. The medical care that I receive at LSU and with Our Lady of the Lake is top tier. I really trust what they telling me, and they keep me right.
Everything you need for a stunning garden is at the Plant Barn in Baton Rouge. From trees and shrubs to plants and pottery, the Plant Barn has it all at great prices. Visit us today on Valley Street, right off Perkins Road in South Downs.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Xavier Thomas running a 4.28 at the combine in the 40 was impressive. I didn't see that coming, y'all. I don't think many of y'all did either. I'm not saying I didn't think Xavier was fast. I think we all knew he was fast. I didn't know he was like fast, though. Like 4.28 fast. That was pretty incredible to watch that at the Combine over the weekend. We all went into the weekend thinking, okay, well, like Chris Hilton, Barry, and Brown, dudes with like true, legit elite track speed, those dudes going to the Combine would have a great opportunity to maybe break the Combine's 40-time record, and it ended up being Xavier Thomas running a 4.28. But that's hardly an outlier. Did you see this? I didn't see this till today as I was doing some prep. So they have 8 position groups that participate at the Combine. 7 of the 8 position groups set the Combine record for the fastest average time of the position group. 7 of the 8. Defensive backs averaged 4.44 in the 40. That was the fastest ever. Wide receivers, 4.44, fastest ever. Running backs, 4.45, fastest ever. Linebackers, 4.55, fastest ever. Tight ends, 4.63, fastest ever. Defensive linemen, 4.83, averaged. Fastest ever. Offensive linemen averaged 5.10. Shout out to the fat guys. Fastest ever, by the way. The only position that didn't have the fastest average time ever, quarterbacks, which averaged 4.60, and that was the second fastest ever. I don't know. I mean, I got a theory, which is like, it's like in track, right? I mean, world records get set and get broken. As humans, we continue to evolve. Training gets better. Conditioning gets better. The technical functionality of running these races gets better. So you're going to keep seeing times broken and records set. It's just what happens, right? And I guess I saw this. I used to, when I would go over to Traction, Mac Chiuoli train all the Combine guys. Like, he was training them, football players, but when he's training them to run the 40, he was training them like track athletes. Like, they were working on their start. I mean, I can remember based on their gait, he would count the steps, like how many steps based on your gait you need to have a 4, 2, whatever, right? And so, I mean, they were training like track athletes to run that event for a time, not like football players just saying, hey, let's see how fast you are. So all that told, I mean, I'm sure we're going to keep seeing times go down, but to see 7 of the 8 position groups average the fastest ever, maybe that's an outlier. I don't know. Maybe that we start to see that every single year, but I thought that was pretty incredible to see. So a lot of really fast dudes at the Combine this past weekend. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Does your significant other have a birthday coming up? Maybe your wedding anniversary is coming up. Springtime, lots of spring weddings means lots of spring anniversaries. Maybe it's a milestone anniversary. Lee Michaels can help you thrill her with a gift in the red box. Graduation will be here before you know it. Tons of amazing gifts for whatever that special occasion might be, and you can never go wrong at Lee Michaels. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com. lmfj.com. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where you'll always get the Lee Michaels experience. We're going to talk to Ross Dellinger in about 20 minutes. And we have a whole bunch of stuff I want to talk about. Ross is the one who broke the story of a group of college football headliners meeting with the president about potential federal legislation on the governance of college football. There's also a very interesting white paper from Louisville that was released today about the future of college athletics that Ross talked about. We'll get into all that with Ross. And I also want to ask him about this because the NCAA Football Oversight Committee has recommended emergency legislation to protect the transfer portal window. What they are trying to do here is issue very stern penalties to schools and coaches that break transfer portal rules. So remember, Xavier Lucas and Jake Retzlaff were the headliners last year that did this. They missed the portal window, and instead of going through the portal, they just unenrolled at their current university, enrolled at a new place, and walked onto the football team, basically just bypassing the portal. Xavier Lucas left Wisconsin, went to Miami. Retzlaff left BYU, went to Tulane, as we well know. Well, the NCAA is trying to make sure this never happens again. And so what they're proposing is that a coach who accepts a transfer outside of the portal window that coach would be prohibited from all recruiting, on-field coaching, and team meetings for 6 games. And the school would be fined 20% of its football budget. Now, you wouldn't be disallowed from spending it. It would be a fine on top of 20% of your football budget. You talk about you're spending $60 million, $80, $100 million on football, whatever that number is. That's a really significant penalty. Now, we'll see if they pass it. And the bigger question is, if they do pass it, will the NCAA even be able to enforce it? Because when they try to enforce their rules, they get sued. So it's this weird game that we keep cycling through, but the NCAA is trying to at least get some parameters. Will they be successful? Talk about that with Ross Dellinger in about 20 minutes. All right, SportsCenter's coming up. Hour 2 is next.
AFR.
Supper Club is closed today, y'all. They're closed Sunday, Monday, but tomorrow they'll be reopened. And I want to remind you as well, even though we're in Lent, so a lot of practicing Catholics, you don't eat meat on Fridays in Lent, there are so many amazing seafood options at Supper Club. I want you to remember this, okay? And honestly, if you're like me, I go to Supper Club and I tell myself every time, I'm going to get something else. Right? I'm not going to eat a steak. I'm going to get something else. And then I end up going, and I always end up getting a steak. Whatever the Sagrera cut is, I want the Omi beef, something just yells at me, I end up getting a steak. I'll tell Erica, hey, don't let me order a steak. Make me get something else. And I always order a steak. Well, maybe this is a good reason to go in Lent so you don't just default to the steak and you order one of the seafood options. Y'all, the Orla King salmon, the Chilean sea bass is exquisite. They've got scallops, they've got lobster, they've got Alaskan king crab legs from the boats on the Deadliest Catch. Y'all, you got to check it out. SupperClubBTR.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
I have no doubt that Our Lady of the Lake will keep me healthy. They make sure to do whatever they can in their power to make sure that we're 100%. They're constantly giving us resources, giving us advice on what to do. I think that just really helps us be the best players that we can be.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
The Tigers don't cut corners on the floor. Parish Construction and Roofing won't cut corners on your home either.
Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing.
ParishGroup.com.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Buckstar power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo expected to return tonight against the Celtics, reports ESPN's Shams Charania. Antetokounmpo out the last 15 games with a right calf injury, officially listed as questionable. Milwaukee went 8-7 without him and is 3 games out of the final play-in spot in the Eastern Conference. A new number 1 running back in Houston entering the 2026 NFL season. Texans acquiring running back David Montgomery from the Lions for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs and 2 draft picks. Montgomery can only help a Houston running game coming off a dismal 2025 season, notes our Harry Douglas.
This is a 5'11", 230-pound back that can get downhill. You talk about 3rd and short, 4th and short, goal line situations, but a really good 1st or 2nd down back. This player had 33 touchdowns total in the last 3 years when you talk about David Montgomery. So I love the fit for him to be in Houston, and also a guy that C.J. Stroud can rely on and turn around and hand the football to.
The Commanders inform cornerback Marshawn Lattimore he'll be released before the new league year begins next week.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Tuesday. As we head towards free agency, I'll tell you which players can make teams title contenders. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Ross Dellinger, 15 minutes. David DeLucci in 1 hour. Someone asked me this weekend, hey, how many producers do you have? I was like, well, there's 2. There's Muse and there's Paul. Like, who's the other guy you mentioned? Well, that's Toby Tomplay. He's the guy that does the AFR theme. So we say Mr. Toby Tomplay, Muse pots it up. That's who that is. That's Toby's not physically here. He recorded that in a studio at his house and then sent us the file, and then we play it. That's what that is.
So he's here in spirit every day with his voice.
That's not spirit. I mean, that's literally his voice.
Yeah.
But he's not physically in person. His member is not here. And by member, I mean his physical being.
I got you. No, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
See, that's years of doing shows with T-Bob that made me clarify.
Yep.
This is going to surprise you. This is going to surprise you. So Derek Carr, on the silly little podcast he does with his brother, they call it I don't know what they call it. I don't care. I've never listened to it. But he said on his podcast that he would come back to the NFL. Listen.
So would I do it? Absolutely, I would do it. I told you 2 things. I'd have to be healthy, and I would want a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Okay. Got to be healthy, want a chance to win a Super Bowl. So apparently, though, there's a third thing you need. Anybody want to guess what the third thing is? So, look, got to be healthy, chance to win a Super Bowl. There's a third thing that Derek Carr would need if he's going to make a comeback to play in the NFL. There's a third thing he would need. Paulie, Muse, anybody want to take a guess what it would be?
A team?
You'd have to have a team. Yeah! Give yourself a ding, Muse. You'd have to have a team that wants you to play for them, that would pay you money for you to play for them. And not only pay you money, but remember, Derek Carr is still under contract with the New Orleans Saints, so a team would have to give the New Orleans Saints compensation. They'd have to work out a trade. So someone would have to give the Saints something to get Derek Carr's rights, and then he could go play for them. Mike Florio at Pro Football Talk over the weekend reported that to date, the Saints have not heard from any team that wants to make a deal for Derek Carr. Hey, how many teams are there in the NFL?
32.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of them's the Saints, so that doesn't count because they're not going to trade him to themselves. You got 31 options. 31 options. And as we pare it down, like realistically, I mean, the Chiefs aren't going to be interested. You know what I mean? Like the Eagles and the Bills and the Chargers, the Ravens, like they're not going to be interested. They got their guy. They got franchise quarterbacks, right? But then you look at like the Jets, the Raiders, the Cardinals, the Dolphins, the Vikings, teams that don't have starting quarterbacks, and none of them have even inquired. Isn't this confirmation of everything I have said about Derek Carr since the day the New Orleans Saints signed him? I've said it a million times. Derek Carr seems like a great person. Man, husband, father, Christian, all that stuff. Seems like a great dude, genuinely. As a quarterback, I have said a million times, as many times as we've ever talked about Derek Carr, that he is mid. He is a lower middle tier, upper bottom tier quarterback in the NFL. We have gone through every objective and subjective metric list you could possibly talk about. Rankings, tier lists, PFF numbers, all of it. And everything keeps coming back that that's where he is. He's at 20s-ish. If you're ranking starting quarterbacks, a 20s-ish starting quarterback in the NFL. He's a guy that's competent, but never going to be the guy that gets you where you want to go. He's not going to elevate a franchise. Is he a starter in the NFL? Yes. He is not a championship caliber starter. I've said that from the day the New Orleans Saints signed. And if you ever needed third-party validation of that, here it is. Derek Carr wants to play, and not a single team to date has called the New Orleans Saints inquiring about Derek Carr. Tells you everything you need to know. Now, it could change because the best option for Derek, and by the way, I want Derek Carr to come back into the NFL. I am a Saints fan. Derek Carr being retired does not get the Saints an asset. If Derek Carr comes back into the NFL to play for another team, they would have to give the Saints something. Even if it's a future seventh round pick, that's something as opposed to nothing for someone that's not helping you at all anyway. So, yes, I would love to see Derek Carr come back into the NFL because that would give the New Orleans Saints an asset for Derek Carr because someone would have to trade for it. The best option is if a potential contender has an injury, like when Joey B, I hate to say it, when Joey B had the toe. And we all know, as we've talked about here very much, you hate to see the toe if you got a toe. Joey B ends up missing 9 games. The Bengals go 1-8. If they had a better option, like Carr, maybe in those 9 games, they're 5-4 or 4-5. Either way, when Burrow comes back, they're still in the mix. He can keep the train on the tracks. The Colts, Daniel Jones, at one point, had them in contention for the top seed in the AFC. He suffers a season-ending injury, season over. Would Carr have been a better option than 45-year-old Phillip Rivers? however old Phillip Rivers is when he... Yes, Derek Carr would have been a better option than old man Rivers. Oh, man. You get it? Yes. So maybe that's the path. However, that injury, should it happen, and hope it doesn't. I don't want somebody to get injured. I'm just talking about the realistically what happens in and around the NFL and football. It's a violent game. Injuries happen. But it would have to happen before the trade deadline. Because otherwise, if that hypothetical situation unfolded after the trade deadline, then you can't trade Derek Carr. The Saints would just have to release him, which why would they do that? They wouldn't. So that's probably Derek Carr's best option. Now, maybe the league year begins. We see what happens in free agency. the draft, dust settles, you start OTAs, and maybe there's a team that looks around and goes, you know what, we need a better option. Maybe it's into training camp. And look, we need an option for a backup, bring someone in. Maybe. I just wouldn't hold my breath for it. I'm hopeful because, as we stated, from the Saints' perspective, you want Carr to come back so you get an asset. I'm hopeful, just not optimistic that it would happen. And this is validation. Dude wants to come back. Nobody's interested. For what it's worth, when you look at free agent quarterbacks around the NFL in this cycle, there's 31 available. Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Mariota, Zach Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Jimmy G, Trubisky, Keenum, Trey Lance, Brandon Allen. I'm just running down the list here of these guys. Malik Willis, young guys. The bottom line is teams will have better options than Derek Carr. They just will. Not holding my breath on a deal getting done, but I'd like to see it done if it could. Okay, it is after further review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters too. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. We're not going to break. Come back. Ross Dellinger is going to be here with us. President Trump is going to meet with college football leaders about the future of college football. Louisville today released a white paper what they would like to see happen in the future of college athletics. So it's like every day this news cycle keeps spinning. So we'll talk about it next with Ross Dellinger on AFR.
AFR.
YourGoodwood.com. YourGoodwood.com. That's the website. YourGoodwood.com. Yes, they do ED. That is not all they do. If you have ED, they can help you. Mostly, though, what I want to impress upon you is the importance of things like hormone replacement therapy. There's a lot of men listening. You may very well be on HRT already. I would strongly encourage you to consider switching to Goodwood. Look, I know there are clinics here, men's clinics, that have membership fees, which is it's absurd. Why would you pay a membership fee? There's no reason. This is a commodity. Whether you're on Cypionate, Enanthate, whichever you're on, it's a commodity. It's the same product you're getting from whatever clinic. So why wouldn't you want to get it where they have the lowest prices, never any contracts, no membership fees? They pay, by the way, for your blood labs every 6 months. They're awesome people. They're right here. It's Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit YourGoodwood.com. YourGoodwood.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential.
River Parish Contractors, they're here. They're in reserve. They do work here. Actually, River Parish Contractors serves businesses from Baton Rouge to Chalmette. So when we say they're like an hour from everywhere, it's kind of what it is. I mean, no matter where you are, you can get there within an hour. River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. And because they're local, they do work locally. Like, they're not interested in doing work in California or San Antonio or anywhere else. They want to do work here. It's River Parish Contractors. And one of the things also is they know who they are, right? There are some mega contractors that do these $100 million jobs. That's not River Parish Contractors. So you want to focus on it's a $15 million job. River Parish Contractors, they'll nail it for you. They fabricate and install themselves, so it's easier on the engineers, significant cost savings as well because of taxes. It's River Parish Contractors. You got to know them if you don't already. rpcontractors.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Get to Ross Dellinger here in just a quick sec. By the way, we just did the River Parish Contractors live read. Big shout out to Luke and Natalie, and congratulations. They were hitched on Friday. So congratulations to Chad's son Luke over there at River Parish Contractors. Awesome people. Got to meet the whole crew. We were there about a month ago as we were starting that relationship. But congrats to Luke and Natalie on the nuptials. Here's to a lifetime of wedded bliss and happiness, man. Fired up for them as they start that new journey in their life. It is After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Ross Dellinger, good enough to join us. He's been busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. Ross, how are you, man?
Good, man.
Where do you want to start?
Well, wherever you'd like to start.
Okay, let's start with what I think is probably the tip of the spear, the top of the whole thing, which is the president having a meeting with a whole bunch of leaders to try to figure out what's going on in college sports. You broke this news last week, so tell us how all of this came together with the president and the group of, 30 or so people that are going to meet with him?
Yeah. Well, we'll see if the meeting transpires. As of Monday, afternoon, it's still on, but we're in a war. So I think we could see a change, delay, or cancellation or something of the meeting. We'll see if it still transpires as scheduled on Friday afternoon. But it should be quite interesting. I'm not sure they're going to get a whole lot done, considering the list of 40 people, and I'm guessing they're not going to meet for much more than an hour and a half, 2 hours. And so I don't know what 30, 40 people can really accomplish in that time frame. But yeah, there's about probably 10 to 15 college stakeholders, like athletic directors and commissioners, and then there's probably 5 pro sports executives and big kind of businessmen that have connections to the president, certainly. And then there's a weird category of just random sports celebrities like Bryson DeChambeau, the golfer, and Tiger Woods. Condi Rice is on the list as well. It's an interesting group, and they're supposed to talk about exploring solutions for the future of college athletics. If anything, Matt, it is a good sort of signal that the president of the United States is taking a very hands-on, as he is the chair of this group, this roundtable they're calling it. He is the chair, and it's probably a good signal. This is that he's taking a more hands-on approach to this issue.
Okay. So if the meeting does happen, and I don't know that I would anticipate anything happens in haste, but what are they hoping could get done?
Well, the president has been pretty clear that he wants Congress to pass federal legislation over college, governing college athletics, and I think that this meeting is to try to get the stakeholders in the room to agree on concepts of a bill that Congress could pass that protects the NCAA or the conferences from creating rules and enforcing those rules, and then that puts some kind of gives college athletics some rules and enforcement power that's sort of the goal, I would imagine. That's been the president's goal from day one. And I'm sure there will be some political leaders in there too, right? Senator Ted Cruz has been at the center of a lot of the negotiations in the Senate side over this situation. And I would guess that he will have somebody in there or other senators will be in there that have been in these talks. So the end goal, Matt, is certainly to get Congress moving on some kind of piece of legislation that can govern college athletics and allow the NCAA and conferences to enforce their rules, which, by the way, have been deemed by many courts to be illegal. But the idea is Congress can supersede that, right, and give the NCAA and the conferences an antitrust sort of protection to enforce its rules despite all these legal issues.
Do we know, Ross, because the NCAA, you tell me if I'm wrong on this, but when they have lost in court, by and large, it feels like it's been in state court where they've had more success in federal court. So would federal law, I'm not a legal expert, I don't know, I mean, you may not even know the answer to this. In theory, if Congress passes a law, would that hold more of a standard over the state courts?
Yeah, I mean, Congress, depending on what the law said, I guess what the bill said exactly about rules, it could grant protection that yes, that in a way supersedes many state courts and their decisions. Probably not all of them, right? And you still may have some legal challenges, but for the most part, you would sort of be absolved of a lot of the legalities. It's to sum it up, Matt, college athletics has all these rules over eligibility and transfers and now enforcement of the new cap and all that stuff. And all these rules, most of these rules, at least, the courts have ruled to be against the law. And if Congress makes a rule that says these rules are no longer, makes a law, writes a law that says these rules are no longer against the law, they're protected, then conceivably they can enforce these rules and put more of a cap on athlete pay, for instance, can reduce the transfer movement, and can create more eligibility standards that uphold in court, as we're seeing some of these eligibility standards being denied in court. So that's the theory that would happen. Now, there's another option here, right? And that's to collectively bargain with athletes of your major sports and have them on the other side of the table. But that's a little more complicated. It is complicated. They have to be deemed employees, many believe, and so that sort of complicates some things. And university presidents don't want their college athletes to be employees because they probably don't want to deal with unions. So they would rather turn to Congress. And the president and many Republicans agree and think there should be, some codification at the federal level of NCAA rules. Democrats, on the other hand, well, they probably think that a collective bargaining route is more appropriate.
Okay. I was going to ask, because this is something where you're on a blind spot for me. If there are groups or pockets of people that oppose congressional or presidential involvement in trying to find a solution.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a very large group of Democrats that kind of agree with the courts, right? That college athletics rules are against the law. They're against the antitrust law. And college athletics argues that they should be protected for a variety of reasons. One, you've got protections in a way for the professional leagues to a degree, in that college athletics is more like the professional leagues, getting more and more like the professional leagues at the top of the industry, at least. And they'll argue too that college athletics is the sort of the at the ground level of the Olympic movement in training Olympic athletes, and the money that was spent and the resources spent at schools in training those Olympic athletes. That money came from football and men's basketball revenues. And now, because those players from football and men's basketball are being paid, that money is not there anymore. And so that's why you see a lot of schools that are in the red, some of them significantly in the red. And the response to this from many Democrats and many others is, well, you're paying your football coach too much, right? Or why did you just add $10 million renovations to that facility? LSU is a probably good example of all those things, right? They just had a football operations facility of millions of dollars of renovation, and they're paying their football coach $13 million. But that's sort of the market. Like, you can't argue with the market, and that's the college football market. And so college administrators are saying that's the market, and we need some relief over here so we can still subsidize our Olympic sports. So we need protection to have a hard salary cap from Congress.
It's going to be fascinating. I don't want to run out of time because I do want to ask you about the other thing you reported today, which is Louisville's president, AD, their board, released a white paper today that's effectively calling for pooling of TV rights. Can you just super simplify what they're asking for?
Yeah, it's I would do my best. So right now, the 10 FBS conferences in the college football playoff and Notre Dame, they all have their separate TV deals, right? The SEC has a negotiated TV deal. The Big Ten negotiates its own TV deal. The Mountain West, the college football playoff, all these are different. The idea purported by many, including the Texas billionaire Cody Campbell and some other entities out there, is that if all of these entities, all the conferences in the college football playoff came together to unify their rights and sell them as one, like the NFL does, for instance, they could get more money. And most would say that's probably true. The projections show twice as much, that they could earn twice as much. Right now, I think it's around $4 billion, all of those entities' media deals. The idea is that it could be $7, $8, $9, $10 billion if they all came together. But, Matt, and so the theory is if you do this, you get more money, then it would help you and help all these universities in the red supporting Olympic sports, right, and doing all this other stuff. It would just give you more money. But there's a couple problems with that the SEC and Big Ten argue against because they are against this. Why they're against it? It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
They're in the current advantage. They have the biggest TV deals on their own, and they lord over all the other conferences. So why would they want to break this up? Why would they want to come together, right, and consolidate deals? And so they're arguing against it, and they're arguing against it based on other reasons too. Number one, will the TV networks really pay that much more, right? They argue against the data as well. And they argue against this other thing, which is, Matt, if, say, LSU gets $50 million more from this new consolidated TV deal, who's to say LSU's not going to spend $49 million of that dollars back on football, right?
Sure.
So there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of disagreement. I'll go ahead and put in a plug. I have a story coming out tomorrow about this exact issue that dives into and hopefully explains for readers in a more simple form exactly what this is. But it is dividing the Big Ten and SEC against everybody else who wants to at least consider this concept of consolidation media rights, while many of the SEC and Big Ten don't want to consider it. They like how the current system is because they're atop the current system.
Naturally. And as you and I well know that we agree, Ross, we are college football elitists and do not care about the little guys here on this show. You know, you and I agree. You coming on this show as a guest, you're giving tacit approval to my opinion that I do not care about the little guys.
One thing, Matt, that'll make you really happy is that one of the arguments the SEC and Big Ten has for this concept of consolidating media rights in the projection that show a double in the revenue. If the SEC and Big Ten if they just get together themselves and consolidate media rights and sell that, It won't just double revenue. It'll probably quadruple it.
Let's go. Because, like, you don't need the Sun Belt dragging everything down. No disrespect to the Sun Belt. You're just the first thing that came to my mind. But it's true Sun Belt and Mountain West and whatever they did with the Pac-12 or ACC and all that junk. Anyway, yeah.
What you're saying is accurate. They bring down the value. There's no doubt about it. But the other argument, of course, is this is college sports. It's having everybody in the pool.
Don't care.
No, I didn't think so.
Give me good games. You want new uniforms? Have a bake sale, Mountain West. Have a bake sale, Idaho. Don't care about you. Anyway. All right, there's way more that we didn't get to, so we'll have to bother you another day. Make sure you follow Matt Ross Dellinger and check that story out tomorrow when it drops at Yahoo. Great, you know the great thing about Yahoo? No paywalls. It's free. You just go read it for free. It's free. It is. Right. I love it. You know I love free. I hate paywalls. I'm allergic to them. Ross, thank you, man.
All right, man.
All right, we'll see. It's after further review. We're brought to you by Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. You know why we have no paywalls? For any of our content, LouisianaSports.net, podcast, YouTube. And you want to know why it's all free? Because we have great sponsors, great businesses that partner with us, like Evamore. So if you're going to buy bottled water, buy Evamore. And you should, by the way, buy bottled water. But you should buy Evamore. It's natural artesian water. It's a healthier alternative, and it's a Louisiana product. EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Do your research. Source matters. Do your research. Go read reviews. They don't make any medical claims, but you can go read reviews of people who have become Evamore consumers and health benefits that it's given them, their own personal firsthand accounts. EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Ross just texted me and said, you'll be asking me back on tomorrow or Wednesday after this story runs because it involves LSU. Okay. Can we go ahead and book Dellinger for tomorrow?
I was about to say, talk to you tomorrow, Ross. I mean,
why wouldn't he, when I texted him to come on the show today, why wouldn't he have just said, wait a day? Because I'm dropping a story that involves LSU.
Maybe he just likes to talk to us. I mean, Ross spent a lot of time in this market, man. Like, he's got a fondness for it.
Yeah, Ross and I are friends.
Yeah,
and he's been to my house, and I've given him whiskey and cigars in my outdoor kitchen, and so I feel like he just feels obligated every time. Like he's got to come on. I really do think that he feels obligated, and that's absolutely my plan. By the way, is just to make him feel totally guilty to where he always has to say yes to me. All right, it's after further review. We'll continue. Stay here.
AFR.
Hey, you want a pool? Of course you do. Who doesn't want a pool? My goodness. When it's 80 degrees today. We're on the second day of March, 80 degrees. We're getting mid-80s this week. I think, fingers crossed, knock on wood, maybe we're not going to get that last cold snap. I shouldn't have said it out loud. It always happens. I know, Muse. We always get that last one where instead of Muse being sunburned on the side of his face, he's windburned and frostbitten from the ice box. But y'all, maybe pool season's going to be here earlier than ever. Please let it be. I'm telling you. If you want a pool, you need Duplessis Builders. Derek and his team, they're the best. Pools, outdoor kitchens. They can even do really cool outdoor landscaping like turf and putting greens. Check it out. Go to the website, duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. They never cut corners. Top 50 pool builder in America from Pool & Spa Magazine. You want a pool? You want the best. duplessisbuilders.net.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling. providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Lockmeyer, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmeyer, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient. And the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Dr. Johnson, that's my guy. He gonna tell me when I need to do better. He gonna tell me when I need to slow down. And I trust him 100%. The medical care that I received at LSU and with Our Lady of the Lake is top tier. I really trust what they telling me, and they keep me right.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, now with our post-combine mock draft roundup. Take it away, Muse.
The Saints are going to draft Jeremiah Love at number 8 overall. You're going to be ecstatic about it.
I asked Muse for a post-combine mock draft roundup. He did not oblige.
I completely missed it. Completely missed it.
I mean.
Sorry, man.
Yeah. Sorry doesn't put the post-combine mock draft roundup on the show now, does it, Muse?
Oh, man.
It doesn't put the delicious Triscuit crackers in my stomach. Now, does it, Carl? That's a Billy Madison.
It's a very good
one, It's a 30-year-old reference. I apologize to everyone who's not old enough to get it. But that's all I got for you here. I hadn't seen a movie in a decade and a half. Okay, well, instead of the post-combine mock draft roundup.
We'll have that for you tomorrow.
And it's going to be great, I'm sure.
Yes.
It's going to be really good. Because Muse has completely let us down here today with no post-combine mock draft roundup. Maybe we could tell a story about Muse's face being sunburned, or half of his face being sunburned.
It's not sunburned. It's just a little red. It's going to be fine tomorrow.
You got raccoon eyes.
Raccoon eye.
Which is even worse.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, I'm not going to lie. It's a tough scene, but it's going to be gone tomorrow.
I go over into the third floor cubby where all the producers are, and half of Muse's face, because I walk into the little office and I could see the sunglasses line and the redness because I'm looking at a profile shot, right? Just on the side. It turns around and you don't have it on the other side.
Nah.
And then I turn around and there's Taylor Sharp. His whole freaking face is sunburned with the raccoon eyes. And I'm like, have you all never been to a baseball game before? And then I'm like, no, we never checked that. Have you ever been outside before? Wear a hat, man. Wear a hat. Put on some sunscreen. What are you doing? No hat?
No
you
hat.
wear a hat every day of your life?
That's not true.
That is true.
No, I have not worn hats in a while. I'm in the process of cleaning my hats. It's
about time you grew up.
They're really, really dirty. And I even too dirty to wear to a ball game.
That's
right
ridiculous.
now. Because I wear them to ball games all the time, and I sweat. I sweat so much. So they get like.
No, we understand the concept,
Yeah.
but that's why then you would wear a dirty hat to a ball game. It's you just wear the hat out to the ball game, or you buy a new hat, or you have some hat that's clean and you wear it because you know you're going to be in the sun, and that's a better option than just sitting in the sun relentlessly for 3 hours, letting it bake half of your face, and then you have a raccoon eye.
Raccoon eye.
I mean,
It's like an eye patch, kind of.
What did I do here? Anyway, I mean, you and Taylor both. Did anybody else go out and just get sunburned at the box this weekend? Looked beautiful out there, by the way.
It was great, man. Saturday and Sunday were, I mean, for February 28th and March 1st,
I mean,
you just don't get a better day for baseball. I mean, those guys from Northeastern and Dartmouth had to just be in heaven. Like, wait, this is what it's like? Not in the Northeast?
Picturesque. Beautiful. Tigers are going to play again tonight against Northeastern. I would assume that before we're out of here, we'll have the starting lineup. And I would be interested to see what they do. Most notably, you look at the lineup right now. I mean, really all of your everyday spots, because Dardar has entrenched himself at second, all your everyday spots are solidified except for left field. When Stanfield's back, he'll obviously take his spot again. But in the meantime, we've seen a little bit of a rotation there with Reeves and Simpson. And I don't think Jay is going to do it, but I would love to see Daniel Harden get a start and just let him play a game and just see how that looks, where he knows he's going to go get 4 or 5 at-bats. I mean, a Monday against Northeastern feels like a pretty good opportunity to do that. And then, because Wednesday you're going to hit the road and play against the Cajuns in Lafayette at Teague Moore. And I love LSU going on the road in the pre-conference. I would so much rather them get out of their comfort zone and go be uncomfortable, because it's easy to stay at the box and play home games in front of your fans and of course make money. I mean, that's one of the things. I remember having this conversation 15 years ago. Whenever they built the new box, and the whole thing about playing all the home games was $30 million stadium doesn't pay for itself with the lights off. So I mean, you gotta have home games. I get it. But competitively, I like leaving. So even if it's a midweek, to go and get on a bus and drive to Lafayette and go play a good program on the road and stand on someone else's mound and sit in someone else's dugout and look at someone else's batter's eye and play in front of someone else's fans, I think it's a good thing to do. But if you're looking for an opportunity to get a young guy some experience, the friendly confines of the box in the home game might be a better opportunity. So you think about like who would pitch tonight. I mean, last week they started Paz. Zach Cowan would probably be the other option, unless they wanted to give Cooper Williams a start. Well, I'd probably say start Paz at home tonight against Northeastern, and then maybe start Cowan Wednesday on the road against Lafayette. Unless if you're thinking you might need Cowan on Friday, but then, my goodness, the way we saw Evans and Guidry combined to finish that game, you may not need anyone other than those two. So we'll see how they do it tonight. Interesting opportunity with the 4-game weekend. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. And of course, at Our Lady of the Lake as championship health partner of LSU Athletics. They are great supporters of the Tiger baseball program. Jay Johnson and the squad. And as they often say, trust isn't given, it's earned. And just like LSU baseball earns its success, pitch by pitch, inning by inning, FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake providers earn trust every day. As LSU's championship health partner, Our Lady of the Lake cares for the defending national champs. They keep the Tigers healthy, strong, and ready to perform all season long. From the bullpen to the batter's box, training room to the classroom, LSU baseball athletes trust the Lake to help them recover, perform, and stay at their best. It's not just for athletes. From sports medicine to pediatrics, heart care to recovery from everyday injuries, Our Lady of the Lake brings championship-level care to families across Louisiana. Trust the team that cares for the team you love. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Learn more at OLOLRMC.com/LSU. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. But it is after further review. Hat tip, by the way, to A.J. Halsey. ESPN.com had their biggest risers from the Combine. It was a feature that they did with each of the 4 days of the Combine where they listed the biggest risers who helped themselves the most at the Combine. And on day 2, A.J. Halsey was listed among the biggest risers by ESPN. They wrote, teams looking for a strong safety in this class should have Halsey on their radar. Former Houston safety finishes college career at LSU and has a no-nonsense edge that really shows up against the run. Measured at 6 foot 215, ran an impressive 4.54 40. That's notable for a player with his body type. He's an opportunistic playmaker when the ball is in his vicinity with 8 interceptions over the past 2 seasons. Halsey will hear his name called on day 2. That was Field Yates who had that write-up for A.J. Halsey. So an awesome weekend for A.J. Halsey at the Combine to solidify himself as a day 2 pick. Be fascinating to see how high he can climb. Would not be surprised at all if he ends up as a second-round pick. So congrats to A.J. Halsey. Halsey obviously had a big weekend, as did Xavion Thomas, running 4.28, and Garrett Nussmeier continuing to show he's healthy, throwing, all that good stuff. He was also listed as one of the risers at the Combine on the quarterback's day by ESPN. So we'll talk a little bit more about Nuss, because Nuss did disclose sort of his injury timeline. So I want to get to that here in about half an hour from right now. Okay, let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll do Tigers and the Pros. David DeLucci's here in about 15 minutes to recap the weekend that was in the Southeastern Conference. It is AFR presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
If you're trying to sell your home, I tell you all the time, call Darren James, get your home sold. And my goodness, I was scrolling Facebook this weekend. It's one of the things about Darren, right? He's going to utilize every possible avenue to get the most marketability for your property. And I was scrolling Facebook, and I saw this new listing from Darren. My goodness, is this gorgeous. Waterfront property on False River. You have got to look at this property. It's on his Facebook page. You can check it out. It's got a great video accompanying the property as well. Gorgeous multi-story home with this beautiful view of the water. Just absolutely gorgeous covered dock that extends out over the water. You want to see the overview, the full video of the property. It's all there at Darren's website, agent225.com, agent225.com. I shared it on Facebook as well, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Dr. Johnson, that's my guy. He gonna tell me when I need to do better. He gonna tell me when I need to slow down. And I trust him 100%. The medical care that I receive at LSU and with Our Lady of the Lake is top tier. I really trust what they telling me, and they keep me right.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Monday shows presented by Relief Windows. David DeLucci in about a dozen minutes from right now. Right now, though, Musso as Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we go back to Saturday to begin. Cade Anderson makes his spring training and professional debut for the Seattle Mariners. Got the start, struck out the side in his first inning. Those strikeouts were Xander Bogaerts, Miguel Andujar, and Gavin Sheets. So not just guys the Padres are seeing if they're going to, move up a level in the minor leagues. He went up and struck out 3 big-time major leaguers. Got into a little bit of trouble in his second inning, was lifted after a couple of hits. Those inherited runs did come around to score. But all in all, a really nice debut for Cade Anderson. Grant Taylor was on the bump in relief for the Chicago White Sox here today in spring training. It was a shutout inning, a perfect inning of relief, as a matter of fact, with 1 strikeout. Gave Grant Taylor his second hold of the spring.
Yep.
Hold on. There we go. Paul Gervais was on the bump for the Dodgers in spring training today as well. Shutout inning of relief for Gervais with a hit. No walks, no strikeouts, but again, no runs, and obviously that's of the utmost importance. Alex Lang back on the bump for the Kansas City Royals. Really cool that Lang's getting to play for the Royals, man. Hometown team there, obviously from Lee's Summit. That's a cool little twist. And he did really well. 1 perfect inning with 2 strikeouts. He's really lower in that ERA here so far in the spring. Hold on, I lost my spot.
You sure right over there, bro?
Well, Ethan Fry.
Paulie. Blew the clock. About that time.
Ooh, about that time, yep. Right on target.
I mean, really starting to kick in. How many times are you going to lose your spot in one segment?
7.
Where you're just reading stats.
I mean, you got to find the right spot in the box score here, man. You got the notes all together.
Sure, Muse.
Ethan Fry.
Great. You're doing great, Muse.
Ethan Fry got some extended ABs here with the Houston Astros in spring training today. Officially 1 for 2 with a single. Also did walk in the ball game. Did have the 1 strikeout. But good to see Ethan Fry get some run. And then we wrap it up with Hunter Fiducia and Cam Sanders. We'll start with Fiducia, our guy. Went 0 for 2 for the Rays today. Did punch out once. Cam Sanders, 2/3 perfect inning of relief there for the Pittsburgh Pirates, still sporting a shiny 0 ERA here in the spring. That's Tigers in the pros.
I want to remind you about First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, but I'm not going to tell you about that today. I'm going to tell you about Cynthia Milliman. Saw this post over the weekend. How cool is this? I told you, First South Farm Credit, they've been around since 1960. More than 100 years. Well, Cynthia celebrating 50 years with the company. Come on, let's give Cynthia a big round of applause. You kidding me? Amazing. Been serving the members in Crowley for 50 years, man. Got this photo of her working on typewriters and whatnot. That's awesome. Congrats to Cynthia. 50 years with First South Farm Credit. Steady, trusted loan specialist, familiar face to generations of members. 50 years of loyal service. First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. Congratulations to Cynthia and her family. 50 years with First South Farm Credit. That's amazing. How about that? I'll tell you this much. I will not make it 50 years with guarantee. I'm at 16. Right? February the 17th was the first AFR of 2010. So we just made 16 years. So that means I would have to go another 34 years. I would be 77 years old doing AFR. I got news for you, Coach. That ain't happening. So Cynthia is going to dust me as far as longevity in one place. But awesome. That's awesome. All right, it's after further review. Remember, you can email us, tweet us, or text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get involved in the show. We'll now got a break. We'll recap the weekend that was in the Southeastern Conference on the Diamond. Our buddy David DeLucci, SEC Network. He's with us next. It's AFR.
After further review.
Power goes out. Who do you call? Arco Power Systems. Actually, the better bet is to call Arco Power Systems now before the power goes out. So you're set with your Generac industrial standby generator when the power goes out. This is industrial generator power for your business, for your commercial facility, your industrial facility, municipalities, schools, office buildings, churches, grocery stores, gas stations, whatever it may be, radio stations. You got a business, your commercial property, industrial facility. What happens when the power goes out? Arco Power Systems springs into action, and everything they do is turnkey. They can sell, service, install, rent that industrial Generac generator, and they service all over the Gulf South. North to Little Rock, east to Mobile, west to San Antonio. Draw a big circle. You're in that footprint. Arco Power Systems can serve you. ARCCO. Arco.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith.
Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Bucks ready to welcome back star power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo tonight. ESPN's Shams Charania is reporting he's expected to be back from a right calf strain against the Celtics. Giannis listed as questionable officially. In the last 15 games without him, Milwaukee went 8-7 and enters tonight's NBA action 3 games out of the final play-in spot in the East. The Bucks, though, should focus on draft positioning and not the postseason, believes ESPN NBA reporter Tim McMahon.
This is not in the Bucks' best long-term interest. We're not going to pretend that the Bucks have a chance in hell of doing anything in the Eastern Conference playoffs this year. The Bucks do not have any chance of doing anything. They're not going to win. They're not going to win a single playoff game.
Guard Trae Young will make his Wizards debut Thursday night versus the Jazz. Young, acquired by Washington from Atlanta in January, has been out for more than 2 months with MCL and quad injuries in his right leg. The Texans, as they'd been looking to do this NFL offseason, bolstered their running game. They acquired running back David Montgomery from the Lions for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs and 2 draft picks.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Another baseball weekend in the rearview mirror as we inch closer to the start of conference play. One more weekend, and they'll start throwing it out there for real in SEC play. David DeLucci, SEC Network, good enough to join us. Luch, great to have you back, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure as always, man. Okay, biggest takeaway from the weekend, what was it?
Biggest takeaway is the players and teams are starting to ramp up a little bit. Competition's getting bigger. Texas is for real, and UCLA may right now have earned that number 1 spot in the country. So looking forward to as this season moves forward, teams starting to play tougher competition. No more patty cake games, and the teams that are still able to take care of business right now, really showing that they're prepared for the season. So we'll talk about the LSU Tigers. I think they're just in a little lull right now, trying to find themselves after such a big opening weekend and adrenaline rush. Everything's starting to settle down now.
The Bruce Bolt College Classic was this weekend. Texas beat Coastal Carolina, Baylor, and Ohio State. What was so impressive about Texas that makes you believe they are for real?
Pitching staff is legit. I think right now they're leading the SEC overall with like a 1.5 ERA. And the guy that I've been kind of looking for, he reminds me a lot of Zach Hess, former LSU closer, is Dylan Belantis. They moved him from the closing role. He was darn near unhittable in the closing role last year. He's their number 3 starter. Just curious to see how he was going to make that adjustment. It's not easy, but he has done outstanding. I think he just recently gave up his first run of the season. And if that is your number 3 guy, the other 2 guys are really, really good. And Ruger Riojas is a starter from last year that's really commanding the game and picked up where he left off. So good team, fantastic offense, but their pitching staff has been incredible so far.
Now, you also mentioned UCLA earning the number 1 ranking. They beat Mississippi State in 10 innings, 8-7. But what is it about UCLA that gives you confidence they can sustain?
It's a veteran team. Made their way to Omaha last year, first time in about 12 years. I actually picked UCLA and LSU in the championship of the College World Series when this is all said and done. Rock Chalowski, their shortstop, is about as good of a player as you're going to find right now. His ability to play defense is terrific. Power and speed to go with it. But all in all, the lineup from top to bottom is really solid. There's no holes. The defensive play is very good. Now, we'll see as the season goes on how they are depth-wise, but currently right out of the gate, it's a team that is really playing. And look, the Mississippi State game that they played went into extra innings, could have gone either way. It was an argued strikeout call that State could have walked it off on a walk, a ball that bounced over the fence that ended up being a ground rule double that could have helped State win. It was a back and forth all game, and UCLA just pulled it out. They just had enough firepower to do it. But with that loss and barely losing, it also shows how good Mississippi State is this year, early part of the season, one of the better defenses in the country, and a pitching staff that's improving every single time they go out there. So another top team in the nation in Mississippi State.
Dave DeLucci is our guest, SEC Network. I want to get to LSU here in a second. Before we pivot to the Tigers, another team that caught your eye from the league this weekend, good or bad, who and why?
Well, I'm going to tell you bad would be Vanderbilt. And look, they started off the season good, and this is why you really can't put a whole lot of weight on the first 2 weeks of the season, because you don't know who they're playing and what the caliber of the teams that they're playing. Vanderbilt went on like a 6-game winning streak where they hit 16 home runs. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, this is going to be a Vandy club that is going to put the offense together with pitching, which that's always their calling card. And then all of a sudden they go and they hit the rails and had a very poor showing against UC Irvine in a loss, poor showing against Arizona, who's pretty legitimate team, and then losing to Oregon. And just to come out of there 0 for 3 is not good. They also had to pull their ace pitcher, Austin Nye, with bicep soreness. That is not a good injury, especially early in the year. So it's a team that I'm concerned with from the negative side.
Luch, it's funny you mentioned no more like layups, cupcake games. LSU still has a few more. But I would love an opinion on what you've seen from the Tigers so far. As the defending champs, replacing a lot, but, seen some really good, some maybe not so good. Thoughts so far?
Yeah, it's almost as if, and everybody sees the same thing, LSU just can't put good pitching and good hitting together. In 1 week, they're pitching the ball really, and then can't get any hits. And the next week, they're hitting well, and the pitchers aren't up to what we expect them. I look at them. Remember, it's a team that won the national championship last year, and they're coming back off a high. They've got a bullseye on their back every time they take the field. And I just look at the roster, and I look at what Jay picked up in the transfer portal, and I think about his track record with offense. I'm worried about him. It's still early on. As I look into the top hitters in the SEC, there's not an LSU player in the top 10 in batting average. That's interesting. Haven't seen that a whole lot. But if I think that Derek Curiel is not going to get on track and be one of the best hitters in the conference, I'd be crazy. So Jake Brown has been the guy that's been carrying the offense. Is he going to hold that up all year long? Not sure, but I think Stephen Milam's going to step up and carry the weight. So when you think of guys that you lost, like Jared Jones, but you've been able to replace them with York and some of these other big sluggers, Caraway. They're going to come together. They're going to gel. It's just taking them a little while. And as long as you have Kason Evans healthy, William Schmidt healthy, Cooper Moore has been outstanding. They're just going to get better and better. I'd rather them peak in a couple weeks than to peak right now and hit a rut as you get in the middle of conference play.
LSU and Vanderbilt open up conference play here in a couple of weeks there in Nashville. It'll be interesting to see if the Commodores can get on track before then. I want to ask also about Tennessee, Luch, because for better or worse, they're interesting, right, for all the reasons we understand. They went and played in Globe Life this weekend, lost to UCLA 12-5, but then beat Arizona State and Virginia Tech. What have been your impressions of the Vols in the early going this year?
Not really sure because of the series that stands out to me is the Kent series where they lost 2 of 3 to Kent State and really looked like they were outclassed and outplayed, and then they'll show signs of a really good team that has a bunch of veterans they picked up in the transfer portal, and then they'll kind of sputter a little bit and the fan base will go crazy. It's very similar to Texas A&M last year. You lose your head coach, a charismatic coach that has a lot of success, then you have to start from scratch. And Josh Elander came through the ranks at Tennessee, so the players know him, but it's an almost completely new roster that he's running out there. It's going to take them some time. They're good players. Whenever you have a reset like what they did, the other SEC teams are just carrying on from the success they had the next year. So you tend to get jumped very quickly in this league. So all eyes will be on Tennessee because of the success they had in the past. But once again, I think they're good. I just don't know if they're at the upper echelon like a Florida, like a LSU, like Mississippi State. They got a ways to go.
Last one, Luch. I want to ask you about Ole Miss because that was a team that a lot of people that I trust coming into this season thought that could be maybe one of the surprise teams in the league this year. They went to Houston this weekend, lost 2 out of 3, lost to Baylor, lost to Coastal, beat Ohio State 8-0. Maybe a quick thought on Ole Miss so far through the first couple of weeks?
Yeah, really veteran offensive team. They're going to slug the ball. They'll be able to hit with anybody. They're going to battle. I like seeing them battle. Didn't like watching their play against Baylor. They lost with their ace, Hunter Elliott, on the mound. You can't do that. You got to take advantage of a terrific start that he had. And then Coastal, if you look at it from the surface, you're like, yeah, Coastal's I think number 9 team in the country. That's understandable. But they also were losing 2 starters, so they lost to about Coastal's number 5 starter in the rotation. And so the Rebs, they need to find, as old and seasoned as that offense is, they got to be able to put it on even on Sundays. So got a little ways to go, but I think they're going to be a very solid team. I think in the end they're going to be a regional team. But once again, there's such a big difference from the teams up top to the teams in the second tier that just because you make a regional doesn't mean that you're going to be the top of the SEC conference.
David DeLucci, SEC Network, always good enough to join us here Mondays during the baseball season. Appreciate the time in the chat as always, Luch. Look forward to doing it again next week, man.
Sounds great. Me too. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. That is David DeLucci. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. New certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge online. SouthPointVW.com. A Saturday at the St. Jude School auction. Great fundraiser over there where Erica works. And Erica and I and a couple of friends went to the event together. We drove in Erica's Atlas, picked up our friends, tons of room, captain's chairs in the middle, tons of leg room, all the features that you'd want. Beautiful, stylish, style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. And all the great safety features. And what an amazing selection they have right now over at South Point Volkswagen. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. You know what that means. They have more inventory, so they have more selection and better pricing. But also, if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, people come in to buy a new vehicle, they trade in their old vehicles. So South Point Volkswagen has a huge certified pre-owned selection, not just Volkswagens. Yes, Volkswagens, but all different makes and models. Go to the website, southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Do it right now. If you're in the market for a vehicle, go check it out. southpointvw.com. Top of the page, you'll see new or used. You're looking for new, hit the new tab. If you're looking for pre-owned vehicles, hit the used tab, and you'll search all there. Year, make, model, body style, price. Narrow down that search. Super easy. If it's on the lot, it's online at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, been a really good show. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Tigers are back at it tonight against Northeastern at the box, about an hour and 15 minutes away from first pitch, which you can hear, of course, on our sister station, Eagle 98.1, and affiliates of the LSU Sports Radio Network. Of course, our Lafayette affiliate, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles. So you can catch the games there as well. I am anticipating that before we go off air, we'll have the starting lineup. So we'll sift through it a little bit. Really, the only decision is who's going to start the game, who's going to be the starting pitcher in the game, and then who's in left field. I guess it could certainly be a question of who's going to DH, depending on what Northeastern is going to do on the mound. But we'll get into all that when the starting lineup is released before we get out of here. Otter will be here in 30 minutes for Otter Locks. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Maybe the biggest storyline for us locally here out of the Combine was Garrett Nussmeier sort of disclosing his injury timeline and being more forthcoming about his injury. And has some thoughts on that. We'll continue here on AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. You know where they are. Seagoneer Airline, LA 16 in Dedham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day to buy local, shop local. Really what I'm encouraging you to do is bypass the big box store. I think sometimes we always have the tendency just to go to the big box store because you might think, well, it's convenient or the selection, whatever the case may be. But the reality is Clegg's has been serving Baton Rouge in the greater Baton Rouge area for 6 decades. And whatever you may need, they have it. They have local products with local people. Johnny Naylor's seeds, which you're not getting anywhere else. So go to Clegg's Nursery. And they are convenient anywhere in greater Baton Rouge. I mean, Seagoneer Airline, your LA 16 in Dedham. There's not the Garden Center within a 5-mile radius of that one. You're the Mid-City location. You turn off of Florida on a Don Moore. It's right there on the right. And then the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs, incredible location. Check it out. Buy local, shop local. Clegg's Nursery.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Remember, if you missed anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Brett Golf. Dalton Wasserman was here in hour one from Pro Football Focus. He spent the week at the Combine. Gave us a great rundown of who stood out to him, what the Saints might do at 8. Big fan of Jeremiah Love and of Sonny Styles as well, who that name is starting to gain a lot of attention. Ross Dellinger was here about an hour ago, and we just heard David DeLucci. Remember, you miss anything. Podcast, YouTube, you can get it to search AFR, or after further review, AFR LSU, AFR Saints. If you want our LSU content or Saints content, you get it all presented by Brett Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org. Over the weekend, Garrett Nussmeier obviously was at the NFL Scouting Combine, and he garnered a lot of headlines because he gave his most expansive or descriptive comment so far about the core or ab injury that slowed him in 2025. This is what Nuss said.
My injury occurred in fall camp, day 2, practice 2 of fall camp. How much did it affect me? It was, I think it was pretty evident. I really wasn't able to throw the football. I had a stabbing pain in my ab every time I went to go throw the ball. And, we weren't able to figure out exactly what it was. It was a frustrating deal, and it wasn't LSU's fault. It wasn't the doctor's fault. They did a great job of taking care of me and the trainers there. It was just a rare deal. It was just a thing that, we really didn't figure out what it was until about 2 months ago. I had about 9 days to prepare for the Senior Bowl and try and get back right for that. And so made a lot of progress over the last month, and so feeling much more like myself, which has been exciting.
So a couple of things there from Garrett. How frustrating, obviously, for him and for everybody, but saying it was day 2 of fall camp, and they didn't figure out what it was until, he said, about 2 months ago, which would be the end of December, like around the bowl game is about what, as that timeline would track, where they would have figured out what it was. Which is perplexing, right? Because if you're talking about an ab or a core, something like that, you go do imaging. You do MRI, you do x-ray. If it's muscular, if it's a pull, a strain, a tear, whatever, that would reveal itself on imaging and testing, but they weren't able to figure out what it was, he said, until about 2 months ago. And by the way, they still haven't disclosed. He still hasn't disclosed exactly what the injury was. So I'm going to be fascinated to find out when we find out exactly what that injury was and why it took them so long to diagnose what exactly it was. But what was so interesting to me, and I do understand a lot of this for people, is water under the bridge. Right? The season's over. Brian Kelly has been fired. Lane Kiffin's here, and there's so much excitement moving forward. But there's a really interesting butterfly effect game that you could play here with this Nussmeier abdominal injury. So follow me. And I went back and actually, if you're watching, I have my fall camp notebook, so I went and looked at my practice notes to sort of cross-check this with the timeline he gave and the updates Brian Kelly gave during the time. So practice 1 was Wednesday, July the 30th. And I have all my notes here. But who was practicing, who was out there? They started indoors, went outdoors, did 5-on-7, did 11-on-11. I got all my notes, okay? Day 2 was Thursday, July 31st. The media got to watch 15 minutes of practice, then they kicked us out. They didn't kick us out because of Nussmeier's injury. What I'm saying is that the injury, whatever, very likely happened after we were gone. We got to watch the first 15 minutes, then we were out. But what was interesting is that practice 3, we didn't have access. And by the way, that wasn't because of injury. We get a list, or we get a schedule before fall camp for the week to say when our availability is. So we knew we got to watch the first 2 days. Day 3, we didn't. Then the 4th practice, we did. So keep in mind, the injury happens on Thursday, July 31st. The next practice on Friday, we don't get to watch. We're back out there Saturday, and we get the full practice. They'll let us watch the entire practice. So we had Nussmeier's hurt on Thursday. We don't get to watch Friday. Saturday, we get to watch the full practice. And they are full pads. I'm sorry, they're shoulder pads. So shoulder pads, girdles. Start indoors and go outdoors. And I looked through my entire notes. I'm not saying Garrett's being dishonest or untruthful. I'm just illustrating a point here. Because I believe him completely. I do. There's no reason for him to lie about it. But I'm looking at my notes, y'all. And Garrett was a full participant. They did 11-on-11 drills. Not against air. And he took all the reps with the ones. When they did 2 11-on-11 periods. Garrett took all the reps with the ones. They did 2 different 1 periods with the 11-on-11. So 3 different series of 11-on-11s. They did the DB wide receiver drills, and he was part of the rotation along with Van Buren and Colin Hurley. So 2 days after the injury, he was out there participating fully. It wasn't until August the 15th. So remember, this was August 2nd. It was 2 weeks later that Brian Kelly, we go watch practice, and Garrett Nussmeier is not throwing. They were at the indoor, and Nuss doesn't throw. Whenever they're doing first team, it's Van Buren taking the first team reps, throwing. Nuss is just taking air reps. And afterwards, Brian Kelly explained why.
Nuss is much more about managing his throws. He hit a number of throws where we give him some time to back off a little bit. He'll be back out tomorrow, full go, scrimmaging tomorrow.
By the way, he was. They went scrimmage, full go, and Nuss was a full go in that scrimmage. 10 days later, August 25th, Saturday before Clemson in Tiger Stadium, again, Nuss not throwing. Here was Kelly's explanation.
When you get into the camp situation, we have a pitch count where we want to take our quarterback's load off, and all the installation was in, Matt. We were done with installation. So this was just more throwing. We wanted to wait and get into Clemson in game week. And so he'll be out there on Tuesday, practicing full.
Okay, so that was August 25th. A week later, they beat Clemson, and then they play Tech, and then they play Florida, and despite 5 interceptions, they only scored 20 points. And people are looking around going, what's going on with the offense? And the Monday after Florida, Brian Kelly acknowledges something's up.
I'll be honest, and I wasn't going to get into this, but with you guys I will. He's been slowed a little bit with a torso injury, and he's fighting through it, and he's getting better. And he's not going to be able to really shut it down until we get to the bye week. And I'm not saying that has had any of his troubles. I think he is a symptom of what I just answered from Wilson in that, we're not ripping it, on 4th down. We're taking some plays away from him.
So Kelly acknowledges he's slowed by the torso, said he won't get back to 100% till the bye. But remember also, they still don't know what the issue is as of this point. They can't find anything wrong with him. They haven't diagnosed anything. He says he's slowed and limited, but they can't find anything wrong. And so then he goes out there against Southeastern and has a monster day. Like it looks more, they score 56. I'm not looking at the box score in front of me, but Nuss has a monster day. And I think everyone sort of exhales and goes, okay, he's had time. He's healed. Now he's rested from whatever, and he looks good. And this was Brian Kelly after the Southeastern game.
Well, you saw him play versus the other teams, and you saw him that night, and I think you could see a difference in what he was doing. He was much more confident throwing the football. So, yeah, there's a couple things we can clean up, with him, and I think that's good that there's a couple, and he can continue to play better. But it's good to see him back to where he had been prior to the year, and I know he's feeling really comfortable right now.
Back to where he had been. He's feeling really comfortable. So I guess, Mike, it was 56-10, by the way, was that score. And Nuss played basically a half, and he threw for 273. That's where I kind of wonder, did he get better and then have a re-aggravation, which which we know Kelly acknowledged that later, that he re-aggravated, which ultimately is why he shut down. But how close to healthy was he as he got healthier, as they managed the load, they gave him time off and all that stuff? But we saw it with our eyes. Like, he looked more like Nuss in that game. And then a week later, they lose to Ole Miss. Nuss, after the game, was asked about his health and said this.
I'm not going to answer any questions about my health right now. Currently, right now, obviously, I'm frustrated about the loss, and just looking at get back, watch the tape, find ways to get better.
They'd beat South Carolina, lose 3 straight, Vandy, A&M, Bama, and of course, Nuss didn't play the second half against Bama and didn't play for the rest of the season, and now has sort of been forthcoming about what's been going on. I would still love to know what the diagnosis was, and maybe we'll find that out in time. But I mentioned sort of that butterfly effect, which, as you think of it, I think most people are, LSU fans, are thrilled with the direction of the program. I mean, Lane Kiffin hasn't won a game, but you pulled off a major coup getting Kiffin away from Ole Miss. He has really embraced everything here, right? I mean, he's riding on the Mardi Gras. He's riding in Endymion. They announced that he's going to be riding the Wear to the Green parade on St. Patty's Day. He's at the box. He's at gym meets. He's at women's basketball games. He's at supper club. He's everywhere. Yeah, he's really embraced all of it. The staff, the portal class, expectations. I think everyone is thrilled. You're thrilled with the direction of the program. You can't help but wonder, what if Nuss had been healthy this year? Because I think we could agree, 100% Nuss, you're beating Ole Miss and you're beating Oklahoma. Those were 2 games that you let get away. You forget, man, the Ole Miss game, you lost that game by 5. It was 24-19. And you had some plays that you left out there. You had a pick 6 called off, that came off the board. Anyway, and then we all saw the Oklahoma game. I mean, it was 2 coverage busts. But anyway, even if you still lose to Vandy, A&M, and Bama, you're 9-3, and you're not firing Brian Kelly at 9-3. So does Kiffin? Ole Miss doesn't make the playoffs because they would have lost to LSU. Does Kiffin go to Florida? Lane Kiffin very likely is the Florida head coach today. Brian Kelly is still the coach at LSU. You don't sign the portal class. You're not going to sign 40 guys. You're not going to have as much turnover. The whole thing looks dramatically different. It's fascinating to sort of look at the butterfly effect of whatever this torso thing was that Garrett Nussmeier had that limited him to whatever degree that led LSU to have the season that they did. We might look back with the benefit of hindsight and say that it was for the best. The worst thing in going 7-6 and firing your coach and paying the buyout and all that stuff could end up being the best thing if Lane pays off, right? If he pays it off and you end up winning a lot of games and championships and all that stuff. That's going to be an interesting point of demarcation in the history of the program forevermore. Like we all talk about with Nick Saban leaving in 2004 after the 2004 season, or Ryan Perrilloux being dismissed before the 2008 season. Like, how different might the LSU program have been if Perrilloux had been the quarterback in 2008 after the championship year instead of the Andrew Hatch, young Jarrett Lee year in 2008, which, of course, changed the way Les approached everything forevermore. That's when he offensively went into a cocoon because he just was never going to allow the offense to lose them games again by turning the football over. So he fundamentally changed his approach and how he approached offensive football. There are these moments. I mean, of course, we can go back to the tragedy in 1980 of Bo Ryan dying. What if Bo Ryan had coached LSU? Who knows how that all might have gone? And then, of course, there's the great one, which is the Drew Brees Miami. Like, what if Miami's doctors hadn't failed Drew Brees on the physical and Brees ends up the quarterback in Miami? Maybe Nick Saban stays there. He never goes to Alabama. Who knows what the last decade and a half looked like? There's so many great what ifs when you play that sort of butterfly effect game. But this one, this Garrett Nussmeier injury, is going to be one that time will tell, based on what happens with Lane Kiffin in Baton Rouge, how it all plays out. But we're going to look back at that as really a seminal moment, a real fork in the road in the history of LSU football with what happened with Garrett Nussmeier on day 2 of fall camp in 2025, when there was so much expectation around the Tigers that they just didn't manifest, in large part because ended up leaning on a limited quarterback, and then a backup quarterback. Hope everybody stays healthy in 26. They reach those goals. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Let's see. Brought to you by Relief Windows, title sponsor of our Monday shows. We'll come back. Is the line posted? All right, we'll check in the break. We'll see if the line's posted for LSU and Northeastern tonight. Jimmy will be here in about 15 minutes for Auto Locks. Stick around.
AFR.
GLO. GlowResources.com. GlowResources.com. Complete employer solutions. It's Glow Resources and GlowResources.com. Hey, if you're hiring and you need to find that person that's going to make you the most efficient, call Glow Resources. And I want to remind you that working with Glow Resources, first of all, they have a 96% success rate. 96% of the time, they hire someone for your business. They stick. In the unlikely event that they don't, you're in luck, because they will either give you a prorated refund or find you another employee for free. That's how confident they are in their ability to find the right person for your job. What job? Any job, in any industry, any sector. This is not a temp staffing agency. These are permanent employer solutions. So check them out at Glow Resources. GLO. GlowResources.com. GlowResources.com. Complete employer solutions.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Oh, we get to Auto Locks here in about 10 minutes or so. Waiting on LSU Baseball to drop the starting lineup for tonight's game against Northeastern, as we're a little inside of an hour from first pitch. The men's basketball team lost to Oklahoma on Saturday, and I know most people already have their mind made up with what needs to happen in this program, and I think overwhelmingly the fan base is ready for a change. Last week we talked to Gordon McKernan on the show. His feeling was that change is afoot in some capacity. We also talked about last week, E.J. Kuiper, the president and CEO of FMOL Health, sort of gave an endorsement to Matt McMahon to return for next season. I think overwhelmingly LSU fans are ready for a change. It is really hard to justify the output of what happened on Saturday against Oklahoma. That's not a good Oklahoma basketball team. They're 15-14 overall, 5-11 in the league, and they came into the PMAC and they led LSU 41-33 at half and ended up beating you by 16 on your home floor. I get it, LSU's playing out the string, but man, that's indefensible. I don't care who's hurt, who's not there. Losing by 16 on your home floor to another bottom feeder in the SEC, who I don't care if Oklahoma had won a couple of games in a row, that's an inexcusable effort in every way. I don't know what's going to happen. As we've talked about sort of loosely here for a bit, there is no consensus, and I've illustrated that with a lot of the conversations that we've had here with boosters and admins. I mean, Verge Josberry was on the show here on Mardi Gras Day, and I asked him point blank. He said, no decision's been made. We'll make that decision after the season. I believe him. And I think it's because there is the real financial concern of mounting costs, and do you want to keep adding dead money to that ledger? If this was just a basketball thing, this would be a no-brainer. And I hate to say it that way, but it's true. And I think all of us can sort of unanimously agree and understand that that is where this is right now. I also don't know what hire, other than one, would get people excited. Because realistically, top-tier coaches are not taking this job. It's not a good job. You don't have fan support. You don't have investment. You don't have interest. It's not a good job. So top-tier coaches are not taking it. So do you try to run it back with Matt McMahon? Do you go mid-major route again? Do you hire an assistant? Like, what would any of that get people excited? No. One person would. You know who he is. By the way, NC State's lost 4 out of their last 5. I mean, they had won 6 in a row in conference play. Now they've lost 4 out of 5. I don't know. I don't know. I know what I do know is there's a lot of people here who want that. You know I'm talking about Will Wade. There's a lot of people who want that. The governor of the state wants that. The chairman of the board of supervisors wants that. I know there are LSU basketball boosters and benefactors that want that. People who are still close to Will that want that. I don't know what Will Wade wants. I don't. I wish I could give you a more definitive answer on any of this stuff, but I'm not being ambiguous. I'm not being intentionally ambiguous. I'm telling you the honest truth. I don't think this decision's been made, because if this was just a basketball decision, it would be over. Because what happened on Saturday night is indefensible. And now you got to go to Auburn, who, by the way, they're scuffling under Stephen Pearl. And I mean, sitting there at 6-10 in conference play, and I fear you're going to go to Auburn. You're going to get run at Auburn Arena. And then you're going to lose to A&M. So you're going to finish 3-15 in the conference, most likely. And I don't care who you lost to injury. That's indefensible. But even still, sans a better option, I don't think they're just going to go throw money to get rid of Matt McMahon. I think more than likely what you would see is them try to reinvest in the roster and run it back, unless that one option we talked about is available. Stay tuned. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Not too late, y'all. Not too late to sign up for the $25K giveaway. Someone is winning $25,000 cash. All you have to do is let us come do a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Nothing else. You get a free roof inspection out of it. Free. No purchase necessary. We're not going to hound you or anything like that. You're going to get a full, detailed roof inspection, which next time, even if you don't have any damage, great. That'd be awesome news. Next time there is potentially a storm, then you can cross-reference your roof after the storm to the date of the inspection for your insurance company. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. That's me and Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley, our whole great staff, Joe, everybody. We'd love to help you out. We love doing business in Louisiana with people we know, and we encourage you all the time to do business with someone you know. Parish Construction Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Sign up for the free 25K giveaway. Just go to parishbuilt.com. You'll see the form right there on the homepage, parishbuilt.com. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks. Hopefully, they post a starting lineup for the baseball game, which they still haven't done yet. We'll get to that as we continue here. It is AFR.
AFR.
Man, the Wearing of the Green Parade just a couple of weeks away. One of the best days annually in Baton Rouge. Some say the best day annually in Baton Rouge. Beautiful spring day, parade, revelry, goings on. Hey, man, you want to make that sort of like a staycation? How about you include Watermark or Renaissance? Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Watermark is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property, not far from the parade route, incidentally. What a great opportunity. Just to get a little bit of a getaway for the weekend. Book your room at the Watermark. Maybe have dinner at the Gregory. Remember, Milford's on Third, more casual sandwich shop. Walking distance to all the bars downtown and restaurants, all the sites in downtown Baton Rouge, the Capitol, the river, the Kid, the casinos. Man, make Watermark Baton Rouge part of your staycation. Or if you have friends coming in town for a baseball game or you're starting to plan for football Saturdays, book now at Watermark Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. It's Watermark Baton Rouge.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
I definitely trust the lake to take care of my body. Being the smallest person on the court, I just have to be in a lot better shape than everyone else, just being quicker and faster. Just having that trust on and off the court is going to help you win a lot more games.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Ooh. Otter. Colucci had a rough go last Thursday.
Yes, he did.
Cool.
Yes, he did.
Got to get it back.
That's what's that?
Got to get it back.
That's why on Friday from Rufino's we had to put out 5-1. So we got it back, so.
I wasn't here Friday,
Yeah.
so that stinks. Because I didn't get that.
Well-
I just looked at my account and realized, oh man, Colucci had a bad day. All right, but you know what? The Gucci has won way more than he's lost, so I'm here for him.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Put out 3 on the website earlier today. NC State plus 10 or so against Duke. I mean, this is dangerous territory. You know, getting in the way of the Duke, Michigan, Florida, and Arizona train. But we're going to try at home. They had a big effort against North Carolina at home in the Triangle Series, so we'll see if they can match that effort tonight. Bad loss for Wade in the Wolfpack, losing to Notre Dame on Saturday in overtime. So they're going to need a good effort here. We also gave Arizona. I think this line's a little bit short today. We'll be looking at 7.5.
7.5
at home against Iowa State. Iowa State may just be kind of limping a little bit down the stretch here. They lost at home. Lost at home to Texas Tech. Texas Tech, that's the third game without their All-American Toppin, who's out for the year with the torn ACL. So he is out. Then we're going to go to Southland for 3 games tonight, and that is we gave out UNO, and UNO is just hot, man. They went to Stephen F. Austin and beat them. The very next game this past Saturday, they had McNeese State beat, and they lose by like 1 or 2, but led for most of the game. Tough luck loss. They've lost a lot of those close ones. So I like them against Southeastern. They're getting primed up. This is the last game before they go to the Southland tournament. Only the top 8 teams make it to the Southland tournament, and that's where we're going to add on a couple. And that's Incarnate Word. If they win tonight, they're in. If they don't, they're out as the number 8 team from the Southland. They play Stephen F. Austin. Both Stephen F. Austin and McNeese State have their seeding set. Stephen F. Austin's the 1 seed. McNeese is a 2 seed in Lake Charles later this week. And they've just kind of been looking ahead, peeking ahead to that all-important tournament. Neither have enough credentials to make it an at-large team. So we're going to take Incarnate Word plus the 6.5 at home. Okay. And we're going to take Nicholls State plus 10 at home against McNeese State. So against the top 2 seeds, peeking ahead to the Southland tournament in Lake Charles.
All right, so UNO, Nicholls, and Incarnate Word are the 3 in the Southland. Then NC State and Arizona are the other plays. A little 5-pack men's college basketball tonight.
5 teams are at home.
Bunch of home cooking tonight. Love that.
Home cooking.
Where are you tomorrow?
Red beans and rice. We had Dozy Place on Government Street in the heart of Mid-City. Great lunch specials, generous portions.
Might come see you in Handy tomorrow.
Good stuff, man.
Maybe might. We'll see. Maybe might come see you guys for lunch tomorrow.
I understand if it's out of the way on the way to the office. So.
I got a meeting at Paris on the other side of town, but it's at 11. I could finish that at noon, and I could stop in at Doe's on the way to the office. I can make that happen.
Come on by. When we get off, we eat lunch. We'll break bread together.
I'll be gone by the time you're done with your show. I got to be on air at 3, so I'm done by the time y'all are gone. All right, Otter, thank you.
All right, good luck.
All right, same to you. It's After Further Review brought to you by Rouse's. Speaking of, Rouse's always has great lunch. I mean, they're a grocery store, obviously, but the deli is outstanding. The hot and boiled kiosk. I love their grab-and-go Asian bowls. They have grab-and-go sushi. They have their salad bar. I mean, if you want lunch, you can always pop into Rouse's, and they have quick, delicious options. They also, every day, have crawfish, live and boiled. The boiled crawfish couldn't be easier. Every day, their crawfish is boiled in-house. They have in-house boiling rooms. It's not brought in from anywhere else. all 76 locations of Rouse's. They boil in-house every day. They have them bagged, tagged, so you walk in, grab your bag of crawfish, corn, potatoes, whatever you want, bring it up the register, you're on your way at Rouse's. The official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, Rouse's. This feels like home. All right, LSU baseball at 36 minutes away from first pitch. Starting lineup is posted for LSU and Northeastern. Change at the top. Jake Brown will lead off for the Tigers, and it's pretty obvious what Jay's doing here. They're trying to get Curriell into the two-hole pretty consistently, see more fastballs, get him going a bit. So Brown will lead off and play right, Curriell in the two-hole in center. John Pearson is going to get the start at first base. Zach York will DH. So an opportunity to get John Pearson in the field, but keep York's bat in the lineup. Then Milam will bat fifth and will play short. Braden Simpson will be in left. He'll bat sixth in the bottom third of the order. Dardar at second, Aaron Beatty behind the plate, and then Caraway batting ninth and playing third. And it'll be Cooper Williams on the bump for the Tigers. The three arms that you really figured they needed to get some mound time: Cooper Williams, Zach Cowan, and then, of course, Paz, who started last week on Tuesday and lost to McNeese. We'll see what they do when they play Wednesday at UL Lafayette. My guess is that would probably be Cowan then. We'll see how it goes tonight. So Tigers and Northeastern. It's coming up here in about 35 minutes. You can hear it on Eagle 98.1. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Getting on down the road. Love to remind you about Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. I've told you before, I'll tell you again. My days of wearing glasses and contacts, done forever. Had LASIK. It is life-changing to wake up in the morning and see. And I know so many of you can relate to this because you're like me. You're born genetically with bad eyes. And so you've had to wear contacts or glasses. I started wearing glasses in the 6th grade, started contacts in the 8th grade, and wore contacts every day until 8 years ago or so when Dr. Blake did my LASIK. And to be able to wake up in the morning and just see. To not have to reach to the end table and grab glasses. It's the out-of-date prescription. To shove contact lens in your eye. Can't travel without bringing solution or change a lens, or you worry if you rip a lens or get something in your eye. Just never have to worry about it again. Williamson Eye Center makes it happen.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Trust isn't given, it's earned. Earned both on the court and off. And every step along the way, I trust Our Lady of the Lake to keep me in the game.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes because it takes a champion to care for champions.
On the court, I trust my team. For my health care, I trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.